No one cared about this disaster. It was not until the disaster swept across the globe with extreme heat and extreme cold, monstrous floods, and a zombie virus killing countless human beings, the civilized order of the blue planet completely collapsed. The humans who were lucky enough to survive faced various crises such as harsh climates, severe shortages of supplies, and rampaging zombies, struggling bitterly to stay alive. Su Chen was also one of them. In order to survive, he had drunk contaminated water and eaten rotting meat, having lived a life worse than pigs and dogs. However, because he trusted others too easily, he was ultimately betrayed by someone while out searching for supplies, and died amidst a horde of zombies. But what he did not expect was that he actually was reborn, returning to 1 month before the Doomsday arrived. Su Chen took a deep breath, and a flash of sharp light flashed in his eyes. Although he was not clear on why he had been reborn, since heaven had given him a chance to start over, he definitely had to grasp it well. Not only must he live on well amidst the apocalyptic world, he must also properly repay those who had previously helped him, as well as those who had betrayed him. Sir, would you like to take a look at our company's Axela model? It not only has a high appearance value, but also good handling performance, and the fuel consumption is not very high either. A sales lady wearing a gray office lady uniform and black silk high heels introduced with a smiling expression. Su Chen glanced at the display stage behind the sales lady, and a self-mocking smile surfaced at the corner of his mouth. In his previous life, it was because he wanted to buy a sedan for daily commuting that he came to attend this auto show. Under the strenuous persuasion of this sales lady in front of him, Su Chen ultimately chose this Mazda. It was just a pity and ironic that, not long after the Doomsday descended, the Mazda that had not been bought for long was directly reduced to scrap metal. I am sorry, Mazdas easily cause traffic jams. I do not have much interest. Su Chen dropped the sentence, and under the sales lady's puffed up and angry gaze, walked towards the inner area of the auto show. The scale of this auto show was not small, and it did not lack luxury brands such as Porsche, BBA, and Cadillac, but their limelight was all overshadowed by one single vehicle, only to see that at the very center of the auto show, crowds of people surrounded it tightly in 3 outer layers and 3 inner layers. A giant recreational vehicle exuding an aura of a fierce tough man, resembling a steel beast, was quietly parked there. Seeing this situation, Su Chen could not help but reveal a satisfied smile. Not bad. His target was exactly this nomadic fortress, which served as the ultimate dream for men and could handle all kinds of harsh conditions. If it were possible, before the Doomsday arrived, Su Chen would naturally be willing to build a Doomsday shelter just like other wealthy people in the world. For example, the Doomsday bunker built by Zuckerberg spending hundreds of millions of dollars, which had energy and food supplies inside, capable of achieving self-sufficiency. When the Doomsday arrived, these wealthy people could survive comfortably inside the bunkers. But right now, there was only 1 month left until the Doomsday descended, which was simply too late to build one. Not to mention that Su Chen was short of money and did not have the funds to build a survival bunker. But coincidentally, at this auto show, there happened to be a top-tier recreational vehicle that could be called a Doomsday fortress, the nomadic fortress. Su Chen was exactly planning to buy this nomadic fortress as his guarantee for surviving in the Doomsday. He passed through the crowd, and just as he was about to step onto the display stage, he was stopped by a security guard on the side. I am sorry, sir, without an appointment, you cannot test drive or visit it, the security guard said politely. The clients who bought recreational vehicles were not many, especially for a luxury vehicle like the nomadic fortress. Declining ordinary people from visiting was quite justifiable. If you don't have some things when you were born, it is basically impossible to have them in this life. Young man, it is enough for us to just look at it. Yes, a car like this is definitely not something our ordinary people can afford to buy, the spectators nearby said with chuckles. I plan to buy this recreational vehicle. Please go and invite your person in charge over. As soon as these words came out, the area around the nomadic fortress display stage instantly quieted down. Everyone looked at the young Su Chen in front of them with shocked gazes. This was a luxury vehicle worth tens of millions. Can you afford to buy it? Are you sure? The security guard recovered his senses and stammered. Do you think I am joking with you? Su Chen raised his eyebrows. Having struggled to survive in the apocalyptic world for so many years, his temperament had become extremely tough and cold, and his words revealed an aura that allowed no unquestionable doubt. Seeing that his expression did not seem to be faked, the security guard also did not dare to neglect it, and immediately called a companion over, asking him to go notify the person in charge. Su Chen approached the nomadic fortress. It was not until he stood right in front of this recreational vehicle that he truly felt the shock it brought. An 8x8 military-grade chassis, a vehicle body length of over 10 meters, and a height of nearly 4 meters. Su Chen's height of nearly 1.8 meters could already be considered tall, but in front of this heavy-duty truck recreational vehicle, he still appeared somewhat tiny. Just the giant tires alone almost reached his chest area. Su Chen stepped onto the electric pedal and entered the interior of the nomadic fortress. The interior decoration of the vehicle was magnificent, with everything one could need such as a refrigerator, color television, and kitchen stove, and all of them adopted international well-known brands. The bathroom was equipped with a fully automatic toilet, and even achieved wet and dry separation. In addition to this, there was also a staircase leading to the roof of the vehicle. The roof was overall a flybridge style, and after raising the roof, it transformed into a terrace ventilated on all 4 sides. After visiting the interior of the nomadic fortress, Su Chen could be said to be extremely satisfied. If he truly had this luxurious heavy-duty truck recreational vehicle, even in the apocalyptic world, presumably he could also live extremely comfortably. Just as he was preparing to leave, a flash of white light suddenly flashed past the main control area above the vehicle door, attracting his attention. This white light materialized into a screen with several lines of words on it. Doomsday Fortress Recreational Vehicle System. Recreational Vehicle Level 1. Energy points required for upgrade 10. Currently possessed energy points 0. Vehicle durability 100%. When the durability drops to 0, the recreational vehicle will be scrapped. It can be repaired through energy points. Storage space. Energy shop. What is this thing? Su Chen revealed a look of astonishment and subconsciously reached out his hand, clicking once on the storage space. A ripple arose on the screen and an item inventory similar to online games appeared. It was just that the item inventory was completely empty inside, displaying 0/99.99. Could it be that this gadget can store things? It is just. How should things be put inside? Su Chen's gaze subconsciously landed on the table to the side, looking at the water cup equipped inside the recreational vehicle. His mind moved, and the water cup on the table suddenly disappeared out of thin air. The item inventory then turned into 1/99.99, and the extra item was exactly the disappeared water cup. This was not the end. Su Chen noticed that at the bottom left corner of the water cup, there was a number 1. Could it be that these supplies in the storage space can be stacked? Su Chen's heart instantly pounded with excitement. His gaze then looked towards several other water cups, and his thoughts flowed once again. As the water cups disappeared once more, it successfully verified Su Chen's conjecture. Inside the storage space, the number at the bottom right corner of the water cup turned into 6. What the fuck? Su Chen was so excited that he almost shouted out loud. With this storage space that could stack items, he could store massive amounts of supplies. When the Doomsday arrived, wouldn't he just take off and soar? This further solidified his thought of buying this nomadic fortress. Just while Su Chen was excited, the voice of the security guard suddenly came from outside. "Sir, our manager is here." Su Chen suppressed the wild joy in his heart, took another look at the white screen, and then walked out of the nomadic fortress. The security guard brought a middle-aged man dressed in a suit and leather shoes, who was standing outside the display stage. After seeing the ordinarily dressed Su Chen, the manager first frowned slightly, and then his brows relaxed. He was experienced and knowledgeable, and naturally knew that there were quite a few wealthy people who liked to keep a low profile. The Su Chen in front of him might just be this kind of person. "Hello, I am the manager Lu Ku, specially responsible for this auto show. May I ask how to address you?" "Sir, you can just call me Mr. Su Chen." Su Chen responded casually, pointing at the nomadic fortress behind him and saying, "I plan to buy this recreational vehicle. Please help me process the paperwork." Hearing these words, Luca's pupils violently shrank, and his mouth also opened slightly. As the Rolls-Royce of the recreational vehicle industry, the nomadic fortress was expensively priced. Only those local tycoons who were interested in recreational vehicle travel would buy one as a toy, but such people were truly extremely few. Therefore, throughout the entire year, it was already considered not bad if the nomadic fortress could sell 2 or 3 units. Luca actually did not expect that Su Chen would so straightforwardly want to process the paperwork and buy the nomadic fortress. He recovered his senses, put away his original contempt, and said with a chuckle, "Good, good, good, Mr. Su Chen. I will have someone process the paperwork for you right away. Wait a moment, I have one request." Su Chen spoke up, calling out to Luca, who was greeting the staff. "No problem. If Mr. Su Chen has any requests, feel free to mention them." Luca's attitude was respectful, without the slightest impatience. As long as he could sell this nomadic fortress, his commission would be massively huge. "I do not have that much cash on hand. How about we sign a contract first? I will first pay a down payment of 1 million, and the remaining final payment will be settled 1 month later. If it cannot be settled 1 month later, then the 1 million down payment will be treated as penalty damages." I wonder what manager Luca thinks of this. Su Chen's family background was ordinary. A few years ago, his parents passed away unexpectedly due to a car accident. What was left to him was only an apartment in the city center of the Magic City, as well as over 1 million in compensation money, not to mention 10 million. Even if it were 5 million, Su Chen could not take it out. His intention was very simple, and that was to get his hands on the nomadic fortress first. As for the final payment, well, half a month later, the Doomsday would arrive anyway. When that time came, banknotes would completely turn into waste paper. Whether Luca could survive and find him was still an unknown variable. "No problem." Luca agreed in one bite without even thinking about it. 10 million was not a small sum, and he also did not expect Su Chen to be able to take out this much cash all at once. Moreover, in his eyes, it was a society ruled by law now. Even if Su Chen could not take out the final payment in the end, the company's legal department would naturally handle it. He should hurry up and sign the purchase contract with Su Chen to get the commission into his hands first. first. Just as Luca personally went to prepare the contract, a crisp and pleasant voice suddenly traveled over from the side. Su Chen. Su Chen was slightly stunned and looked up. After seeing that familiar yet strange pretty face, a ripple arose on his originally calm and unruffled face. A girl with a slender figure and a pretty face was standing not far away, staring blankly at Su Chen. She was called Lu Linger, and she was Su Chen's ex-girlfriend. Next to her, wearing a black silk short skirt, dressed sexy and hot, and with an appearance not inferior to hers, was her best friend Xiao Mei. Back then, in the university, Lu Linger could also be considered a campus belle. Su Chen spent a great deal of effort to successfully pursue her. Originally, the relationship between the two was extremely sweet, but after stepping into the society flowing with materialistic desires, Lu Linger's thoughts gradually changed. Coupled with the instigation of the gold-digging woman Xiao Mei, she ultimately chose to leave Su Chen. After the two broke up, Lu Linger mixed together with Xiao Mei, idling away their days without seeking progress, only pondering over how to hook a wealthy golden bachelor so they could marry into a wealthy family. The two of them came to attend the auto show today exactly because they wanted to see if they could get to know some wealthy people, but they absolutely did not expect that they would run into Su Chen here. Lu Linger, long time no see. Su Chen nodded his head slightly as a response. After the breakup back then, he had always been obsessed with Lu Linger, and he had been in pain for a long time, unable to walk out of it. Even after the Doomsday descended, upon learning that Lu Linger had fallen into a predicament, he headed out to rescue her without the slightest hesitation. However, after Lu Linger and Xiao Mei successfully escaped, they actually ruthlessly kicked Su Chen away, almost causing him to starve to death. This truly fulfilled that saying, a bootlicker gets no good ending. Having been reborn and returning, he naturally would not be so infatuated with Lu Linger anymore. As for Xiao Mei next to Lu Linger, Su Chen simply acted as if he did not see her. Seeing his attitude being so cold, Lu Linger felt somewhat uncomfortable in her heart, while Xiao Mei, who had a haughty temperament, was exceptionally displeased. This Su Chen, who was always regarded as a poor loser by her, how dare he treat her like this? What are you doing here? Could it be that you still plan to buy this recreational vehicle? This is a recreational vehicle worth tens of millions. Even if you sold yourself, you probably wouldn't be able to afford it. None of your fucking business. Su Chen glared coldly at Xiao Mei. Towards this vicious gold-digging woman, he was disgusted from the bottom of his heart. If the current moment was the apocalypse, Su Chen would definitely let Xiao Mei know what cruelty was. Xiao Mei just wanted to get angry, but after looking at Su Chen's ice-cold gaze, she instantly could not speak a word. What kind of gaze was this? Freezing cold, sharp, and carrying an indifference towards life. It was as if Xiao Mei dared to speak half a sentence more, he would dare to kill her in public. Xiao Mei pressed her red lips tightly together and could not help but shiver. It had only been a few months since they last met. How did this guy seem to have changed into a different person? How could she know that Su Chen, while struggling to survive in the apocalyptic world in order to stay alive, had his hands stained with quite a lot of fresh blood as well? In a short while, Luca walked back carrying the prepared contract. Su Chen was also too lazy to look at the details. He directly signed his name with a pen and handed over his bank card. Congratulations to Mr. Su Chen for becoming a noble nomadic fortress vehicle owner. After completing the signing, Luca shook hands with Su Chen and said with a congratulatory smile, "By the way, Manager Luca, there is one more thing I need your help with. Please trouble yourself to find a driver to help me drive the vehicle away." A giant recreational vehicle like the nomadic fortress required a Class B2 driver's license to drive. Su Chen did not have a driver's license. If he was caught by the traffic police, then it would be troublesome. No problem. Luca agreed in one bite and immediately arranged a driver for Su Chen. As the driver started the recreational vehicle, Su Chen leisurely stepped onto it. Under the gazes of everyone present in the entire venue, this colossal monster of a nomadic fortress slowly drove away from the auto show. Throughout the entire process, Su Chen did not even glance at Lu Linger and Xiao Mei at all. Lu Linger, didn't you say that this poor loser's family background is ordinary and his parents have both passed away? Looking at the departing nomadic fortress, Xiao Mei asked quite unwillingly. She had always dreamed of being able to marry a wealthy man and live a life of intoxicated dreaming and deathly revelry, but she absolutely did not expect that Su Chen was actually a low-profile local tycoon, casually throwing away heavy gold to purchase the nomadic fortress. Associating it with her previous terrible attitude towards him, Xiao Mei instantly felt remorseful, truly sitting up in shock while dying of illness. The clown turned out to be herself. I don't know either. Lu Linger shook her head, her expression somewhat dazed. When the two of them were together, Su Chen did indeed act extremely ordinary. Lu Linger was also unclear on exactly what had happened to him. Thinking about just now, apart from the initial greeting, Su Chen had not looked at her straight in the eye at all. Lu Linger's heart was completely filled with a sense of defeat. One is not afraid of an ex-boyfriend suffering hardships, but one is afraid of an ex-boyfriend driving a Land Rover. What Su Chen was driving now was a nomadic fortress worth tens of millions. This was even more unbearable for her than killing her. Could it be that he deliberately acted poor previously? The more Xiao Mei thought about it, the more she felt it was possible, so she instigated. "No, Lu Linger, we absolutely cannot just let Su Chen go like this. Hurry up and make a phone call. Think of a way to ask him out. This isn't very good, right? Lu Linger revealed hesitation on her face. Although affected by Xiaomei, she had become vain and loved vanity, but she still had some sense of shame and self-esteem. She still could not bring herself to put down her pride and turn back to look for Su Chen. What is not good about it? Xiaomei said with a face full of hatred for iron not becoming steel. Su Chen can afford to buy a nomadic fortress. He at least has a net worth of hundreds of millions. If the two of you can get together, you will be able to enjoy the life of a wealthy family. When that time comes, I can also follow you to enjoy a good life. Her last sentence also exposed her true intentions. Well, alright then. Lu Linger hesitated for a moment and ultimately failed to resist the temptation. Under Xiaomei's strenuous persuasion, she dialed Su Chen's phone number. It had to be said that a giant recreational vehicle like the nomadic fortress driving on the streets was truly eye-catching. Pedestrians on the road all cast shocked gazes towards the nomadic fortress. The coming and going vehicles, upon seeing the nomadic fortress, also slowed down one after another, clearing the way for Su Chen. Su Chen sat inside the recreational vehicle, admiring the scenery outside the vehicle window, but his heart was quite full of sighs. He knew very well that this scene of heavy traffic and peaceful world would not last for long. After the Doomsday descended, it would be completely replaced by chaos and ruin. The mobile phone in Su Chen's pocket suddenly started buzzing and ringing. Taking out his mobile phone to take a look, it was a phone call from Lu Linger. He was not surprised, based on his understanding of Lu Linger and Xiaomei. After seeing his changes, the two of them would absolutely not let him go easily. Hello, is there something the matter? Lu Linger simply acted as if she did not hear the coldness in Su Chen's words, pretending to be calm and speaking softly. Su Chen, there are some words I have never made clear to you. If you are free tonight, come sit at my place for a bit. How about it? I am sorry, I truly am not really free. The corners of Su Chen's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a mocking smile. If he really went to her door, when that time came, it would not be sitting for a bit, but doing it for a bit. Towards this girl he had loved, Su Chen was too lazy to have any more entanglements with her. If there is nothing else, I will hang up. Listening to the busy tone on the other end of the phone, Lu Linger felt so terrible in her heart that she wanted to cry. Thinking of Su Chen's gentleness and consideration towards her in the past, and looking at his coldness now, she inevitably felt somewhat remorseful. It seems this kid has indeed struck it rich, otherwise he would not be so arrogant. Xiaomei, who had listened to the content of the phone call between the two, rested her exquisite chin on her hand and analyzed seriously. Xiaomei, why don't we just let it go? Lu Linger sighed. How can we just let it go? Lu Linger, you have to know that nowadays, men who are rich and handsome are extremely highly sought after. Seeing Lu Linger's firm attitude, Xiaomei's beautiful eyes rolled around, and she stopped persuading. She secretly wrote down Su Chen's phone number, and taking advantage of Lu Linger being unprepared, sent several messages out. Mr. Su Chen, we have arrived. Old Su, the driver arranged by Lu Ku, following Su Chen's instructions, drove the vehicle to a remote parking lot in the suburbs of the city. Master Old Su, for the next month, I would like to trouble you to be my driver. As for the salary, I will give you 20,000 yuan. What do you think? Working for Lu Ku, Old Su only earned a few thousand yuan a month. With this sudden influx of 20,000 yuan, how could he possibly refuse? Naturally, he happily agreed to it. After the two of them agreed, Su Chen sent away the driver Old Su. Right at this moment, the mobile phone in his pocket suddenly vibrated once. Su Chen took out his mobile phone, took a look, and saw it was a text message. Su Chen, I am Xiaomei. It was my fault previously. I apologize to you for my attitude. As long as you can reconcile with Lu Linger, I will do anything to make amends and apologize. Following behind the text message were several selfies of Xiaomei, her exquisite and charming delicate body, wearing a black silk short skirt, showing the utmost intent of seduction. Su Chen sneered coldly in his heart. This Xiaomei probably thought he had struck it rich, so she deliberately delivered herself to his door. She truly was money-grubbing. He originally wanted to delete the text message and directly put Xiaomei into the blacklist, but on second thought, he stopped his fingers. Back when Su Chen and Lu Linger were dating, it was Xiaomei who obstructed from the middle. Later, when the Doomsday arrived and Lu Linger and Xiaomei were rescued, it was also Xiaomei who forced Lu Linger to abandon him. If he didn't properly take revenge on her, how could he do justice to her past actions? Su Chen thought for a moment and replied, I have things to do during this period of time. How about this? 1 month later, you go to the Phoenix Mountain scenic area to look for me. On the other side, upon receiving Su Chen's text message, Xiaomei instantly felt her heart bloom with joy. She glanced at Lu Linger next to her, who was completely unaware, and couldn't help but feel smug in her heart. Lu Linger, I gave you a chance and you didn't know how to use it, so don't blame me. Compared to you, I have both a better figure and a better temperament, so it is perfectly justified for Su Chen to take a fancy to me. Okay, then we will see each other when the time comes. Su Chen glanced at Xiaomei's text message and then tossed his mobile phone aside. Right now, the most important thing was to figure out this so-called Doomsday Fortress system. Just now when he was conversing with the driver Old Su had no reaction whatsoever to that white screen, as if he simply hadn't seen it at all. Thus, Su Chen could be certain that this system should only work on him alone. As soon as Su Chen walked to the central control area, that white screen faintly surfaced again. He reached reached out his hand, clicked on the storage space again, and started researching. After a series of experiments, Su Chen discovered that as long as things were within a 30-meter radius of the nomadic fortress, they could be directly taken into the storage space. As long as they belonged to the same category, they could be stacked. But stacking was not without a limit. It could only be stacked up to a maximum of 9,999. Time inside the storage space seemed to stop flowing. Whatever state an object was put in, it remained in that exact state when taken out. Besides this, there were also some other restrictions. Living biological entities, such as small birds flying in the sky, could not be put into the storage space. For example, floor tiles on the sidewalk, trees, etc., which were tightly connected with other objects, also could not be taken inside. But even so, Su Chen was still quite excited. If he could fill up the storage space after the Doomsday arrived, he wouldn't need to worry about a shortage of supplies. Su Chen suppressed the excitement in his heart and continued researching the system downwards. He reached out to click on the energy shop, and closely following that, 2 items surfaced. Current level LV1, redeemable items, gasoline, water. Redemption ratio, 1 energy point can redeem 1 liter of gasoline or 1 kilogram of water. Seeing the annotations below, Su Chen's heart grew even hotter. Good heavens, to drive a recreational vehicle and survive in the apocalypse, fuel, water, and food were undoubtedly the most important living supplies. If he could truly freely redeem fuel and water through this so-called system, he would only need to store massive amounts of food inside the storage space, and then he could run rampant in the apocalypse. However, regrettably, Su Chen searched for quite a while but didn't discover how to obtain energy points. Never mind, there was still plenty of time. He could just slowly research it in the future. Taking a look at the darkening sky, Su Chen also didn't plan to go home to rest. He lay on the Simmons grand bed inside the nomadic fortress, and harboring an excited mood, gradually drifted into dreamland. Early the next morning, after Su Chen woke up, he washed up in the bathroom inside the vehicle. When old Su arrived, he even specifically brought breakfast. After Su Chen filled his stomach, he started thinking about the next plans. The top priority right now was naturally hoarding living supplies. In addition to this, he also needed to modify the nomadic fortress. Even though the nomadic fortress was a recreational vehicle specially designed for off-road travel and living, sufficient to handle most harsh environments, but the impending Doomsday not only featured extreme climates but also countless bloodthirsty zombies, as well as humans harboring unfathomable motives. Su Chen had to modify the nomadic fortress in order to survive in the apocalyptic world. But whether it was buying living supplies or modifying the nomadic fortress, both required large sums of money. Money is not omnipotent, but without money it is absolutely impossible. After paying the 1 million down payment to Lu Ku, Su Chen didn't have much money left in his hands now. What should be done about this? Su Chen pondered for a moment and instantly had an idea. Usury. In today's society, you can borrow anything, but you just can't borrow money. Those who can lend you 100 are acquaintances, those who can lend you 1,000 are brothers, those who can lend you 10,000 are relatives, and those who can lend you 100,000 are parents, and the only ones who can lend you more are usury sharks. Old Su, take me to this place. Su Chen pointed at the map on his mobile phone and instructed the driver Old Su. Yes, Mr. Su Chen. Old Su returned to the driver's cabin and started the vehicle. The nomadic fortress emitted a low, deep roar and departed in style. In a short while, Old Su drove Su Chen to the outside of a building bearing the sign of the strong and prosperous financial company. When the nomadic fortress parked, the people inside the company heard the commotion and flocked out to watch this big guy. Oh my goodness, what kind of car is this? Why is it so big? You're acting like a country bumpkin now, right? Let me tell you, this car is a nomadic fortress, the Rolls-Royce of the recreational vehicle world. Being this big, it must be at least 5 million, right? 5 million? Heh, at least 10 million. As the vehicle door opened and the electric pedal was lowered, Su Chen slowly walked down. The crowd looked at him with slight awe, until he walked up to them and asked, "Where is your boss?" "Our boss is right upstairs, sir. Please follow me." An employee who looked relatively smart hurriedly said respectfully. Su Chen nodded his head and followed behind this employee, walking into the strong and prosperous company. Do not let the fact that right now was a society ruled by law fool you. This world was not purely black and white, but also had gray areas. This company named Strong and Prosperous appeared on the surface to be a legal financial company, but in reality, it privately operated a usury business. Su Chen had heard people mention it previously, so he proactively came to their door. "Hello sir, I am Gao Qiqiang, the general manager of the Strong and Prosperous company." When the nomadic fortress parked outside the door, Gao Qiqiang upstairs had already noticed it. Being able to afford such a luxurious recreational vehicle was enough to prove that Su Chen's financial power was extraordinary. No matter what purpose he had, building a good relationship with such a person would definitely bring only benefits and no harm. Therefore, when Su Chen walked into the office, Gao Qiqiang proactively stood up and enthusiastically stepped forward to shake hands. "Hello, my name is Su Chen." After the two sides exchanged simple pleasantries, Su Chen directly stated his purpose for coming. "Manager Gao Qiqiang, to tell you the truth, I have encountered some difficulties in my business and wish to apply for a loan here with Manager Gao Qiqiang. Chiang. I wonder what manager Gao Chiang thinks of it. Easy to discuss. Easy to discuss. I, Gao, am exactly in this line of work. However, I must tell you in advance, brother Su Chen, the interest here on my end is not low yo. Gao Chiang revealed a smile with profound meaning. Since I proactively came to your door, I am naturally aware. Su Chen smiled slightly. I wonder how much brother Su Chen wants. 10 million. Hearing this number, Gao Chiang couldn't help but frown slightly. Even though he was wealthy and powerful, 10 million in cash was not a small sum for him either. Noticing Gao Chiang's expression, Su Chen curled his lips and smiled. What's wrong? Could it be that brother Chiang can't take out this much money? A joke, let alone 10 million. I could even take out 100 million. Although Su Chen's goading method was simple, Gao Chiang still fell for it. He snorted coldly and followed up by asking, "It's just that, brother Su Chen, how can you prove you have the ability to repay the loan? That nomadic fortress outside was bought by me just recently for 12 million. Besides that, I also have a real estate property in the city center. If I can't pay it back, brother Chiang can confiscate both." Although that real estate property left by Su Chen's parents was a bit old, it was in a good geographical location and belonged to a school district housing, easily worth over $1 million. Gao Chiang's facial expression fluctuated unpredictably, and he didn't speak. His sharp eyes stared deadly at Su Chen, as if wanting to see through all the thoughts in his heart. However, Su Chen's face sank like water, without any ripples. Gao Chiang couldn't help but mutter in his heart. When he was young, he used to be a famous gang boss in the underworld. The aura radiating around his body was not something ordinary people could withstand, but the Su Chen in front of him acted calm and relaxed. Judging from this kid's background, he was absolutely not simple. Thinking of this, Gao Chiang also nodded and agreed. "Deal, we will handle it exactly as you said, brother Su Chen." He waved his big hand, instructing the employees outside the door to start preparing the loan contract. After inspecting the vehicle driving license, motor vehicle registration certificate, as well as the real estate property ownership certificate, Gao Chiang signed the loan contract with Su Chen extremely readily. It had to be said, Gao Chiang was extremely ruthless and merciless. Su Chen applied for a loan of 10 million, but he only issued 9 million, yet the loan contract stated 13 million. This was the infamous payout 9, take back 13. No wonder so many people would have their families ruined and perish due to usury. However, Su Chen couldn't care less about that much. When 1 month later arrived, everyone's wealth would vanish into thin air. Surely Gao Chiang wouldn't still chase after him to collect the debt, right? Happy cooperation. Gao Chiang shook hands with Su Chen, feeling exceedingly joyful in his mood. After all, making 4 million in 1 month, where else could one find such a good deal? Looking at his beaming and smiling expression, Su Chen sneered continuously in his heart. Hopefully, when the Doomsday arrived, you will also be able to smile so happily. I heard that brother Chiang has extremely vast connections in the Magic City and is omnipotent. Your younger brother still has 2 matters and would like to ask brother Chiang for a favor. Brother Su Chen, just open your mouth. If it's a favor I can help with, I will absolutely not decline. I need a large batch of gasoline. I wonder if brother Chiang can procure it. Although gasoline could be redeemed inside the Doomsday Fortress system, right now Su Chen didn't know how to obtain energy points. To be prepared for all eventualities, he still decided to prepare some fuel. It was just that in today's society, gasoline was strictly controlled. Wanting to buy gasoline in massive quantities was almost impossible. Gao Chiang's expression was somewhat astonished. He didn't expect that Su Chen would want to buy gasoline. This matter shouldn't be much of a problem. How much do you plan to want? The more the better. It is best if it is filled in those standard oil drums. Su Chen's words made Gao Chiang even more dumbfounded. A standard oil drum usually holds over 150 liters. What do you need so much gasoline for? However, seeing that Su Chen had no intention of explaining, Gao Chiang was also too lazy to pursue the questioning. Okay, I will call you to contact you later. The second matter, I wonder if brother Chiang has this on your end. As Su Chen spoke, he gestured with his hand to form a gun shape. Ahem, brother Su Chen, do not joke with me. I, your older brother, am a proper businessman. Gao Chiang was startled and hurriedly waved his hand with a smile. Brother Chiang, you can rest assured. I only want this gadget for self-defense. Su Chen chuckled lightly to comfort him. The apocalyptic world was fraught with crisis all around. If he could have a weapon for self-defense, that could also greatly increase his safety factor. Brother Su Chen, do not make things difficult for your older brother. Seeing that he still refused to relent, Su Chen smiled again. Older brother, we just completed a big transaction. Are you unwilling to help with even this small favor? You also know that the risks of this gadget are very huge. It's not that your older brother can't help you. Gao Chiang chuckled mischievously, but you have to add more money. Deal. To Su Chen, as long as he could exchange it for the required supplies, spending a bit more money was nothing. After the two chatted idly for a few more sentences, they both bid farewell contentedly. Su Chen left the strong and prosperous company and returned to his own recreational vehicle. Mr. Su Chen, where are we going now? The driver old Su asked through the walkie-talkie. Go to the Walmart supermarket. Yes. Old Su drove the vehicle again, taking Su Chen to the Walmart supermarket in the city. Different from other domestic supermarkets, Walmart was not just a supermarket, but more like a storage warehouse. The massive amount of supplies stored inside the warehouse warehouse was enough for a city to use for a week. Su Chen's purpose in coming here was to purchase supplies on a massive scale. He directly found a staff member and requested to see Walmart's person in charge. Knowing that a youth driving a 10 million luxury recreational vehicle was looking for him, Manager Zhao of Walmart also didn't dare to neglect it and immediately invited Su Chen to his own office. I need to purchase a large batch of supplies. Here is the list. Su Chen handed the list he had prepared in advance to Manager Zhao. Manager Zhao took it and took a look, and instantly widened his eyes. The contents on the list could be described as a superb collection of beautiful things. Items like drinking water, instant noodles, compressed biscuits, mostly living necessity supplies, filled up an entire A4 paper. Moreover, the required quantities were simply too exaggerated. For example, regarding drinking water, Su Chen specifically requested Wahaha's 12-liter large barrels of mineral water, asking for 10,000 barrels all at once. In addition to this, other supplies such as thick-cut beef and mutton, beer, and white liquor were also requested to be delivered in boxes. Calculating roughly, these supplies would cost at least upwards of 30 million. If they were for one person to use, I'm afraid they wouldn't be finished even in 300 years. Mr. Su Chen, what do you need so many supplies for? This is my personal privacy. What, does your Walmart even manage this? Su Chen glanced at Manager Zhao. No, that is not what I mean. Manager Zhao hurriedly waved his hands and explained. It's just that for some items, like the Waha purified water, our warehouse here doesn't have that much either. How about we change it to Nongfu Spring for you? How about it? No. Su Chen didn't have any good impression of the Nongfu Spring brand, hence he refused in one bite. But in that case, we will have to transfer goods from out of town again. Mr. Su Chen will probably have to wait for a few days. That is fine, but the delivery must be completed within a week. In another month, the Doomsday would descend. Su Chen's time could be said to be quite urgent. He had to seize the time to prepare the supplies, and then go have the nomadic fortress modified. A week? Then there is no problem. Manager Zhao thought for a moment, nodded and agreed, and then asked, then what about the delivery method and the payment method? After your side finishes loading the vehicles, just park the trucks here. I will send people to unload the cargo. Su Chen told Manager Zhao the parking lot where he had parked the nomadic fortress yesterday. As for the payment method, I will first pay a deposit of 5 million. The remaining final payment will be paid 1 month later. What do you think of this? The loan Su Chen borrowed from the strong and prosperous company was not enough to pay for so many supplies. He still planned to use the same trick of getting something out of nothing, just like before. Well, alright then. Manager Zhao thought about it and still nodded to agree. Actually, whether it was him, or Gao Qiqian of the strong and prosperous company, or Lu Ku from the auto show, the reason they could believe Su Chen so easily was also very simple. First of all, when Su Chen arrived, he was driving the 10 million luxury recreational vehicle, the nomadic fortress. Secondly, the temperament and conversational skills he displayed during the conversation didn't seem like those of a scammer. Most importantly, Manager Zhao and the others felt that right now was a society ruled by law. Su Chen was young, and there was no need for him to embark on a path of crime for this. It was just that how could they know that 1 month later, the Doomsday would descend, and when that time came, the social order would collapse, and people wouldn't even have time to protect themselves. After signing the contract with Manager Zhao, Su Chen transferred the deposit over. Manager Zhao also dared not neglect it, and immediately began arranging manpower to prepare the supplies for Su Chen. Watching Walmart's employees loading boxes of supplies onto the trucks, Su Chen also revealed a satisfied smile. Mr. Su Chen, what are you buying so many supplies for? The driver old Su beside him couldn't help but ask out of curiosity. You also know that I like wilderness survival exploration. Otherwise, why would I buy this nomadic fortress? Even if it was for wilderness survival exploration, there was no need to prepare so many supplies, right? Moreover, although the nomadic fortress had a large space, it probably couldn't hold this much either. Old Su had doubts in his heart, but seeing that Su Chen was unwilling to speak clearly, it wasn't appropriate for him to ask further. Just as they were preparing to leave, Su Chen slapped his forehead and suddenly remembered. The Doomsday Fortress system could take all supplies within a 30-meter radius directly into the storage space. He could completely park the nomadic fortress right next to Walmart's warehouse and freeload it. However, this matter couldn't be rushed. If the goods inside the warehouse vanished without a trace, Walmart would definitely call the police. When that time came, if the police discovered that his recreational vehicle appeared at the crime scene, they would definitely lock onto him. Thinking this way, Su Chen temporarily dispelled the thought of freeloading off Walmart. Having run consecutively to 2 places, the strong and prosperous company and Walmart, it was already noon. Su Chen was also extremely generous, taking old Su straight to a 3-star Michelin restaurant in the city center. This kind of high-end restaurant had delicious flavors, but the prices were also extremely expensive. Ordinary working-class people like Su Chen and old Su simply couldn't bear to part with their money to come eat here. When a full table of gourmet delicacies, paired with high-end red wine, was served on the table, let alone old Su, even Su Chen felt his index finger moving with appetite. The two immediately swept through like a whirlwind in scattered clouds, beginning to annihilate the delicious food. Old Su's eating manners were particularly exaggerated, even performing a public public display of eating a whole pig in 3 bites. Those that could be selected as 3-star Michelin were all high-end restaurants. The guests entering and exiting here were all socialites who styled themselves as having noble status. When they dined, it could be said to be quite gentle and well-mannered. After seeing the way Su Chen and old Su were eating, the surrounding guests couldn't help but let out low chuckles and pointed fingers at the two of them. Mr. Su Chen, is our behavior causing a bad impression? Old Su's old face blushed red, and the movements of his hands slowed down a lot. Why care about them? We eat our own food. It's not like we're affecting them. Su Chen burped, picked up a napkin to wipe his mouth, and said without caring at all, when the Doomsday descended, under the circumstances of supply shortages, where would there still be any civilized manners to speak of? For the sake of a mouthful of food, let alone kneeling down and kowtowing, there were quite a few who would violently fight over it, committing murder and arson. After eating and drinking their fill, the two leaned comfortably against the chair backs, admiring the scenery outside the window. Mr. Su Chen, then what are we going to do this afternoon? Old Su asked while taking out a medicine bottle from his pocket, pouring out 2 pills, and swallowing them down with plain boiled water. Old Su, what medicine are you taking? Su Chen said casually. It's for treating high blood pressure. I am a person with high blood pressure, so I have to use medicine every day. Old Su smiled honestly. Hearing his words, Su Chen was first stunned, then immediately recalled something, and his heart trembled. Right, he almost forgot that he needed to prepare more medicines. One must know that the shortages in later generations were not merely limited to living supplies. Things like medicines were exceptionally scarce. The importance of medicines was absolutely not inferior to food. After all, when the Doomsday descended, with extreme cold and extreme heat, a lot of people would easily fall ill. Su Chen didn't want to guard massive amounts of supplies, only to die accidentally from catching a disease. Let's go. We are heading to a pharmaceutical factory, inside an office of a pharmaceutical company. Lin Yingying, your performance this month is at the very bottom again. The pot-bellied manager looked at the tall-figured and gorgeous-looking Lin Yingying in front of him, and a flash of greed flashed in his eyes. According to the rules, if you are at the bottom for 3 consecutive months, you will be fired. Feeling the other party's burning gaze, Lin Yingying felt somewhat uncomfortable all over and pretended to be calm as she said, please rest assured, manager, this month, I will definitely work hard. Yingying, don't put too much pressure on yourself. If it really doesn't work out, your big brother here can also help you out. The manager grinned, revealing a mouth full of big yellow teeth. He walked to Lin Yingying's side and attempted to grab Lin Yingying's soft, boneless small hand. As long as you come accompany me tonight, we can easily discuss anything. For this small matter, I'd better not trouble you, manager. Lin Yingying's heart was full of disgust, and she hurriedly avoided the manager's greasy pig trotter hand. Seeing her being so tactless, the manager's face sank. Fine, then this month you will still be the same as before, only having the basic salary. Lin Yingying pressed her red lips together, said no more, turned around, and left the manager's office. Although she verbally said she would work hard, Lin Yingying had no confidence in her heart. Nowadays, pharmaceutical companies stood in great numbers. In order to open up sales, the medical representatives and sales representatives of various companies could be said to be using all their skills. Things like taking kickbacks, giving red envelopes, and inviting people to eat, drink, and have fun were basically commonplace meals. Although Lin Yingying had tried hard to act like other colleagues, handling things according to the unspoken rules, but as soon as the other parties saw Lin Yingying's beautiful flower-like face, they would sequentially spawn restless intentions, demanding her to accompany them to eat, drink, and sleep. Lin Yingying could be considered as keeping herself clean and honest. Towards such demands, she naturally refused, but as a result, her performance naturally failed to meet the standard. If I get fired next month, I'm afraid I won't be able to hold on anymore. Lin Yingying walked out of the pharmaceutical company, her pretty face full of distress. Right at this moment, an eye-catching giant recreational vehicle came whistling from the distance and slowly parked outside the pharmaceutical company. Although Lin Yingying didn't understand recreational vehicles, just from its exterior appearance, she could also judge that this recreational vehicle was worth a fortune. The rear vehicle door of the recreational vehicle opened, and a handsome youth walked down. He took a look at the pharmaceutical company's building, then took a look at Lin Yingying at the main gate, and proactively greeted, hello, may I ask if you are an employee of this pharmaceutical company? Yes, my name is Lin Yingying. I wonder how to address you, mister. Although she wasn't clear on the other party's identity, Lin Yingying still replied politely, my surname is Su. I came today because I want to purchase a batch of medicines. Su Chen explained his purpose for coming. Hearing these words, Lin Yingying felt a burst of joy in her heart. This was truly someone delivering a pillow right when she was feeling sleepy. She was just worrying about her performance, and Su Chen proactively came to her door. I am exactly the medical representative of the pharmaceutical company. Whatever medicines Mr. Su Chen wants to purchase, just tell me. Lin Yingying was extremely attentive, bringing Su Chen into the company's reception room and saying with a chuckle, these are all what I need. Su Chen handed the prepared medicine list to Lin Yingying. Lin Yingying just took one look, and her beautiful eyes instantly widened into complete circles, her cute red lips also opening slightly, for no other reason, just because the medicines Su Chen was purchasing were simply too many. From the most basic physiological saline solution to pain painkillers, antibiotics, and even some high-end medical equipment. The value was at least upwards of several millions. Seeing that Su Chen was so young, Lin Yingying originally thought he would purchase at most hundreds of thousands worth of medicines, yet she didn't expect it to be this much. How could this not make her astonished? What's wrong? Is there any problem? Seeing Lin Yingying somewhat spacing out, Su Chen asked softly. No problem. It was more than just no problem. It was simply completely without any problem. If she could successfully negotiate this order from Su Chen, her performance next month would absolutely not be at the bottom. Lin Yingying secretly swore in her heart that she must successfully secure Su Chen. The two sides negotiated for quite a while. After seeing the quotation sheet brought out by Lin Yingying, Su Chen couldn't help but smack his lips. One must know that the prices at outside pharmacies were over a dozen times higher than what was on the quotation sheet, and for some, it was dozens of times more expensive. No wonder seeing a doctor and medicine prices were so high in the current world. The price difference in the middle was all earned by the middlemen. Su Chen sighed in his heart, nodded at Lin Yingying, and said, I can accept the price. However, I have a condition. I will pay 1 million up front, and the rest will be paid 1 month later. Not bad. Su Chen was still playing the trick of getting something out of nothing. I need to notify our manager. If it were a business worth tens or hundreds of thousands, Lin Yingying could naturally make the final decision, but this was several millions. For the sake of prudence, she had to notify the manager. Alright, Su Chen shrugged his shoulders. After reaching a preliminary cooperation intent, the relationship between the two also drew much closer. Lin Yingying complimented with a smile. I didn't expect Mr. Su Chen to be so young, yet also so successful in his career. She felt that Su Chen was definitely running a large chain of pharmacies. Otherwise, why would he purchase so many medicines? Towards Lin Yingying's misunderstanding, Su Chen didn't intend to explain, merely chuckling lightly. Miss Lin Yingying is not bad either, not only possessing national grace and heavenly fragrance, but also being shrewd and capable. Being praised by the handsome and wealthy Su Chen, Lin Yingying's heart instantly felt wonderfully sweet, and covering her mouth, she smiled. Mr. Su Chen overpraises me. Right at this moment, the mobile phone in Su Chen's pocket suddenly rang. Okay, I will go back right now. Su Chen chatted simply for a few sentences, then hung up the phone and said to Lin Yingying, I'm sorry, Miss Lin Yingying, I have a matter to attend to on my side. After you finish requesting instructions from the manager, we will contact each other again. After speaking, without waiting for Lin Yingying to open her mouth, he stood up and left in a hurry. Looking at his departing back figure, Lin Yingying spaced out for a moment, hurriedly stood up, and quickly walked towards the manager's office. After learning about this matter, the manager instantly became anxious. You are asking me for instructions for such a trivial matter? Hurrying up and negotiating the deal is the real business. The phenomenon of withholding payment for goods, let alone in the pharmaceutical industry, was extremely common in all walks of life. Why was this Lin Yingying so ignorant of the ways of the world? To the pharmaceutical company, a business worth several million, although not a massive sum, was still quite a lot. After receiving the manager's affirmation, Lin Yingying also dared not neglect it and immediately made a phone call to Su Chen. Is this Mr. Su Chen? Our manager has already agreed to Mr. Su Chen's request. When do you think we should sign the contract? As for the matter of signing the contract, there's no rush for now. When I have time, I will contact your side. After Su Chen on the other end finished speaking, he directly hung up the phone. Listening to the beep 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 busy tone, Lin Yingying was stunned. Just now Su Chen had expressed that they needed to hurry up and negotiate the cooperation. Why did he suddenly change his mind? Associating it with his final praise of her, Lin Yingying's heart sank. Could it be that Su Chen, just like other men, had also set his eyes on her beauty? If this was truly the case, what should she do? If she refused him, this order would be ruined, and she would soon face the risk of losing her job. If she didn't refuse him, she would have to proactively throw herself into his embrace. Lin Yingying spaced out for a moment and finally bit her shell-like teeth tightly, as if having made up her mind. Su Chen on the other side was completely unaware of this. If he knew Lin Yingying's thoughts, he would probably cry out that he was wronged. The reason he left in a hurry was very simple. Walmart had already loaded the goods and was preparing to deliver them to the door. Su Chen had to hurry back to accept these goods. After the nomadic fortress returned to the parking lot in the city suburbs, Su Chen sent away the driver Old Su. In just a short while, 20 to 30 large cargo trucks came roaring over. Su Chen didn't ask the truck drivers to unload the goods. He merely told them to park the vehicles properly and open the doors of the cargo boxes. Wait until early tomorrow morning to come drive the vehicles away. Upon hearing that they didn't have to work, the drivers were also extremely happy. After they locked the vehicle doors and opened the doors of the cargo boxes, they departed individually. This open-air parking lot was located in the city suburbs. Aside from a few security guards, there were almost no other people around. After ensuring no one was paying attention, Su Chen personally came to the driver's cabin. Although he didn't have a driver's license yet, after asking Old Su for instructions today, he already knew how to initially drive the nomadic fortress. Su Chen carefully drove the nomadic fortress, circling the 20 to 30 cargo trucks once. In less than 20 minutes of time, so many originally fully loaded cargo trucks became completely empty, and inside the storage space of the nomadic fortress, nearly 100 grids of supplies appeared. disappeared. After busying himself for a while, Su Chen parked the nomadic fortress back in its original spot. Looking at the supplies inside the storage space, his mood also became much more joyful. According to this progress, in about a week, all the supplies would be properly prepared. When that time came, he could also proceed to modify the nomadic fortress. After the modifications were completed, he could proceed with the next step of his plans. Just as Su Chen was pondering his future actions, the mobile phone in his pocket suddenly rang. He picked it up and took a look. It was a phone call from Lin Yingying. "Miss Lin Yingying, is there any matter? Our manager has already agreed to Mr. Su Chen's request. I wonder if Mr. Su Chen is free. Let's talk face to face." Su Chen took a look at the sky that was about to turn dark and then suggested, "It's a bit late today. How about we change the day?" But his words, to Lin Yingying's ears, sounded like pushing it off, especially that last sentence. "How about we change the day?" It made Lin Yingying's face somewhat flush red and her ears hot. Could he be dropping hints at her? Lin Yingying bit her red lips, still unwilling to give up. "Mr. Su Chen is purchasing such a large batch of medicines. Whether by reason or emotion, I must invite you to a meal to express my gratitude. If you refuse again, you will break my heart." Since the other party had pushed the words to this extent, Su Chen couldn't well refuse, so he nodded. "All right then, tell me the address, and I will go over right now." Lin Yingying told Su Chen the booked restaurant. After hanging up the phone, she looked at her pretty face in the mirror and sighed faintly. If she truly planned to step onto such a path of no return, she might as well start with Su Chen. Who made Su Chen handsome and wealthy? Lin Yingying didn't think too much anymore. Reaching out her hand to the side, she slowly put the recently bought Balenciaga black silk stockings over her slender jade legs. Night fell, and the evening lights were lit up. Due to his unskilled techniques, Su Chen didn't drive the nomadic fortress, but hailed a Didi ride. Following the address provided by Lin Yingying, he arrived at a 5-star hotel in the city center. Inside a private room of the hotel, Su Chen saw Lin Yingying. Tonight, Lin Yingying was wearing an off-white knitted tight-fitting dress, making her figure appear exquisitely curved. Her round and lustrous jade legs were tightly wrapped by the Balenciaga black silk stockings. Her originally delicate face, after some meticulous makeup, appeared even more enchanting and moving compared to her daytime image as a white-collar beauty in an office lady uniform. Her appearance tonight could be described as dangerously charming. Seeing Su Chen staring at her fixedly, Lin Yingying felt somewhat shy in her heart, but at the same time felt wonderfully sweet. "Mr. Su Chen, please sit down quickly." Lin Yingying coughed lightly and said in a delicate voice. After Su Chen sat down, the waiters started busying themselves with serving the dishes. In order to successfully secure this business deal, Lin Yingying had also invested heavily, specifically borrowing a sum of money from a friend. Not only did she order a full table of gourmet delicacies, but she also asked for 2 bottles of mutai. Lin Yingying originally thought Su Chen would be somewhat surprised, but unexpectedly, he acted extremely composed. After all, Su Chen had just spent tens of thousands of yuan eating a big meal at a 3-star Michelin restaurant today. It seemed that without sacrificing herself, she wouldn't be able to secure Su Chen. Thinking this way, Lin Yingying held her wine glass with a smile and stood up. "To be able to get acquainted with Mr. Su Chen is truly my blessing. Here, I offer a toast to Mr. Su Chen." As soon as her words landed, she drank the white liquor in her glass in one gulp. Without waiting for Su Chen to speak, Lin Yingying poured another glass and smiled. "Thanks to Mr. Su Chen's favor, reaching a cooperation with me, I offer another toast." She tilted her head back, revealing her white neck, and downed the white liquor again. "To congratulate our successful cooperation, I offer yet another toast." In a short while, Lin Yingying had drunk 3 glasses of white liquor. Her originally smooth and delicate face was now entirely flushed red, appearing even more charming and ready to drip. Seeing her being so polite, Su Chen was actually somewhat surprised. "Miss Lin Yingying." "Don't call me Miss Lin Yingying, just call me Yingying." Lin Yingying suddenly walked to Su Chen's side and sat down right next to him. Su Chen could feel the blazing heat from her delicate body. He could also smell the enchanting perfume scent on her body, as well as the faint smell of alcohol radiating outward. At this moment, even if Su Chen were foolish, he would also understand that Lin Yingying inviting him to dinner tonight probably had another purpose. Before the Doomsday arrived, Su Chen was an absolutely untainted man. But after the Doomsday descended, with order collapsing and morals degenerating, he still had a few one-night stands. It was just a pity that in the later stages, women, in order to survive, sequentially attached themselves to men with power, influence, and supplies. For ordinary men, surviving was already a luxury, so how could they consider other people? As someone at the bottom, before he died, Su Chen hadn't tasted meat for a very long time. He was no moral saint. With Lin Yingying being so proactive, he would not refuse either. Not taking the initiative, not refusing, and not taking responsibility was Su Chen's principle. "Good, Yingying, then you also stop calling me Mr. Su Chen. Calling me older brother or brother Chen is fine." Su Chen revealed an evil smile and unceremoniously reached out his hand, wrapping it around Lin Yingying's slender waist. Feeling his broad palm, Lin Yingying's delicate body trembled slightly, but she still pretended to be calm, leaning against Su Chen's shoulder. Noticing Lin Yingying's trembling, Su Chen felt somewhat strange in his heart. She had already proactively come to hook up with him. How could she still be nervous? But he didn't think much about it, because because Lin Yingying had already held up her wine glass, raising it in front of Su Chen, smiling bewitchingly. I have already drunk 3 glasses. Older brother cannot refuse to drink. That is natural. Su Chen took the wine glass and was just about to drink it in one gulp. Lin Yingying, however, pressed down on his hand, shook her head and giggled. Older brother, don't rush. She picked up another glass of wine and looped her arm around Su Chen's arm, holding his glass. Drinking like this is interesting. Seeing Lin Yingying proactively wanting to drink cross-cupped wine with him, Su Chen couldn't help but sigh in his heart. City people truly know how to play. The two of them both drank the wine in their cups in one gulp. After consecutive glasses of wine went down her stomach, Lin Yingying, who couldn't handle much alcohol, had a face so red it seemed it would drip blood. She leaned into Su Chen's embrace, exhaling breath like orchids. Older brother, I have booked a private room upstairs. Why don't you skip going back tonight? With matters developing to this stage, he nodded generously and smiled. If Yingying has a request, how could I refuse? The two drank a few more glasses. Seeing that the timing was almost ripe, Su Chen then wrapped his arm around Lin Yingying and got up to leave. Looking at the table full of food that had barely been touched by chopsticks, and then looking at Su Chen's dashing back figure hugging a beauty as he left, the waiter standing to the side was completely filled with envy, jealousy, and hatred. Why the fuck don't I have money? If I had money, would I be in this pathetic state? When the two of them took the elevator and arrived at the guest room area upstairs, Lin Yingying already had blurred eyes and floating footsteps. Only by leaning against Su Chen's shoulder could she barely walk. Su Chen used the room card given to him by Lin Yingying to successfully open the room door. I will go wash up a bit first. Lin Yingying struggled to stand up from the sofa, refused Su Chen's good intentions, and swayed unsteadily as she walked towards the bathroom. Su Chen was also not in a rush. He crossed his legs and casually watched TV. But after waiting for quite a while, he didn't see Lin Yingying walk out, and couldn't help but mutter in his heart. Lin Yingying had drunk so much alcohol just now. She couldn't have had an accident in the bathroom, right? Out of concern for her, rather than lust, Su Chen walked over to the bathroom area and knocked on the door. Lin Yingying did not respond, but low sobbing sounds came from the bathroom. Su Chen hurriedly pushed the door open and walked in. He saw her, who had already finished washing up, sobbing in front of the mirror. Seeing this situation, Su Chen instantly didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This Lin Yingying, what kind of play was she acting out? If you are unwilling, I will not force you. Su Chen shrugged his shoulders. Lin Yingying, with red eye sockets, took a look at Su Chen, and then without any hesitation, directly threw herself into his embrace. Feeling the soft, delicate body of the beauty in his embrace, Su Chen for a moment felt his mind drifting towards romantic thoughts. Actually, I really am unwilling. Woo-woo. Su Chen was both angry and amused. You were clearly the one who proactively came to seduce me. How come when things came to a head, you want to regret it again? I was forced to do this. Lin Yingying hugged Su Chen tightly and poured out everything regarding her bad luck over this period of time in exact detail. After knowing the course of events, Su Chen then suddenly realized these are all misunderstandings. Yingying, you can rest assured. Even if nothing happened tonight, I will definitely sign the contract with you, Su Chen said seriously. Lin Yingying lifted her head, her beautiful eyes staring fixedly at Su Chen, as if wanting to determine whether he was lying or not. Su Chen shrugged his shoulders, turned around, and was just about to leave. However, Lin Yingying stepped forward, hugged him from behind, and said in a low voice, Don't go. Since things had reached this point, if Su Chen truly left, it would really be somewhat unromantic. He turned around again, scooped Lin Yingying up by her waist, and walked towards the bed with large strides. Wait a moment, I will take off the black silk stockings. As Lin Yingying's words landed, her hands were held down by Su Chen. He smiled wickedly. Don't, I prefer you wearing them. Early the next morning, Su Chen and Lin Yingying stared at each other with wide eyes. The atmosphere was somewhat awkward. Yingying, bring the contract over. Su Chen coughed lightly, taking the initiative to break the silence. Lin Yingying took out the contract from the bag on the side and handed it over. Su Chen was also too lazy to look at it. With a wave of his pen, he signed his name. After busying himself with all this, the room became silent again. Fortunately, at this time, Su Chen's mobile phone suddenly rang, successfully getting him out of the awkward situation. Hello, is this brother Su Chen? It's me. Gao Qiqiang's voice came from the other end of the phone. Is there a matter, brother Qiqiang? The matter you told me about yesterday has some clues now. Gao Qiqiang smiled and said, if it is convenient for you, come over directly to find me. Okay, brother Qiqiang, you wait for me. After Su Chen hung up the phone, he said to Lin Yingying, I have matters to attend to and have to leave first. If you are tired, rest first. Don't go to work today. There is a total of 1.5 million in this card. The password is 6 sixes. 1 million of it is my advance payment, and the remaining 500,000 can be considered as my compensation to you. Su Chen put down the bank card in his hand, and as he spoke, he stood up and walked outside. Women will only affect the speed at which he draws his sword. At present, Su Chen's preparation work had not yet been completed. He truly had no mood to indulge in romantic love affairs. After leaving the hotel, Su Chen directly took a taxi to the strong and prosperous company and saw Gao Qiqiang. After the two exchanged pleasantries, Gao Qiqiang mysteriously brought Su Chen to a hidden warehouse, only to see hundreds of oil drums placed inside the warehouse. According to the younger brother's request, these are all standard standard oil drums, totaling over 200 drums. But you can rest assured, there will be more coming up later, at least 4 to 5,000 drums, Gao Qiqiang said with a grin. He had a friend who was in the smuggling business, and it just so happened they could get the goods directly from there. As for the pew that younger brother wanted, it is truly hard to procure. There is only this kind of hunting rifle. As Gao Qiqiang spoke, he took out a gun. This gun was similar to common hunting rifles, except a large section of the muzzle had been sawed off. It was almost exactly the same as the sawed-off shotgun in PUBG. Although this led to a shortened range and poorer accuracy, it was extremely convenient to carry. Nowadays, the control over firearms was extremely strict. Being able to procure such a hunting rifle was already extremely difficult. Su Chen was not disappointed. He took it over from Gao Qiqiang's hands, played with it for a bit, and smiled with satisfaction. Many thanks to Brother Qiqiang. I wonder if Brother Qiqiang can provide some more bullets. This is easy to negotiate. I can get you about 200 rounds. Gao Qiqiang responded readily. As long as he didn't actively court death, about 200 rounds should be enough. Su Chen nodded and smiled. Brother Qiqiang has really done me a huge favor. How much did it cost in total? I will transfer it to you. The money for the fuel, we will talk about it later after finishing loading. As for this gun, just consider it a gift from me to you, younger brother. Gao Qiqiang chuckled, and then changed the subject, lowering his voice and saying, it's just that I have some doubts in my heart, and I hope younger brother can tell me truthfully. What exactly are you planning to do, younger brother? Su Chen was young, sat on a tens of millions luxury recreational vehicle, yet ran over to borrow a loan from Gao Qiqiang. That was fine, but he also requested Gao Qiqiang to provide a massive amount of fuel, as well as a pew. Gao Qiqiang was not afraid of Su Chen making a big scene. He was afraid of Su Chen causing trouble and implicating him. Su Chen saw through his worries and smiled. Brother Qiqiang, you can just rest assured. I am merely using it for self-defense. Towards the crafty and sly Gao Qiqiang, Su Chen naturally would not tell him the truth. Besides, even if he told the truth, he didn't think Gao Qiqiang would believe it. The two chatted idly for a few more sentences, and Gao Qiqiang handed the warehouse key to Su Chen. Both sides agreed that Gao Qiqiang would be responsible for transporting the goods over at night, and Su Chen would be responsible for transporting them away during the day. For the next few days, Su Chen could be said to be quite busy. Every morning, he had the driver Old Su drive to Gao Qiqiang's warehouse and take the prepared fuel into the storage space. In the afternoon and evening, Su Chen had to sign for and receive the medicines and supplies delivered by the pharmaceutical company and Walmart at the parking lot. Having been busy like this for nearly a week's time, all the supplies Su Chen needed had been prepared properly. The 9 million borrowed from Gao Qiqiang had long been spent cleanly. Su Chen even utilized his connections to mortgage his apartment at the bank to borrow over $1 million more. However, what he got in exchange was the nearly completely filled storage space of the nomadic fortress. In addition to the most basic guarantees for clothing, food, housing, and transportation such as drinking water, food, and fuel, Su Chen also additionally stored a lot of entertainment items like PS5 and standalone game masterpieces. After all, the Doomsday was long. Without entertainment, one's spirit would probably collapse. Happy cooperation. 1 month later, I will transfer the final payment to your company. Su Chen signed his name on the form, confirming that he had received the medicines and equipment. Looking at Su Chen in front of her, Lin Yingying's heart was somewhat complex. Although the two hadn't known each other for long, Su Chen had after all taken her first time, so she more or less had somewhat different feelings for Su Chen in her heart. However, after that night of joy, Su Chen left 500,000 behind. Besides delivering goods on ordinary days, he never contacted Lin Yingying again. It was as if he spent 500,000 to buy Lin Yingying's first night. If there's nothing else, I will take a step first. And just as he was about to leave, he turned his head and said to Lin Yingying, it won't be long before the Doomsday descends on the world. If possible, you'd better hoard some supplies and quickly leave the magic city. After saying this sentence, he stepped onto the nomadic fortress without looking back. Doomsday of the world, hoarding supplies? Before Lin Yingying could recover her senses, the nomadic fortress had already whistled away. Watching the departing shadow of the nomadic fortress, for some unknown reason, a faint sense of loss surfaced at the bottom of Lin Yingying's heart. She bit her red lips, hesitated for a moment, and decided to follow Su Chen's suggestion and go hoard some supplies. Although the Doomsday of the world sounded extremely ridiculous, in her heart, she held an inexplicable trust towards Su Chen. Different from Lin Yingying, Su Chen, who had experienced the apocalyptic world, had an extremely tough temperament. After all, he had witnessed a man and a woman who had just slept together the night before, slaughtering each other over food the very next day. He left 500,000 for Lin Yingying and also reminded her that the Doomsday was about to arrive, which could already be considered as doing his utmost in humanity and justice. As for whether Lin Yingying could survive, it no longer had anything to do with him. Mr. Su Chen, where are we going now? Old Su asked through the walkie-talkie. Su Chen tossed the matter of Lin Yingying to the back of his mind, pondered for a moment, and spoke. I want to have the vehicle modified. Old Su, do you know anyone in this line of work? I do know someone for this. I have a buddy named Zhang Qi. He used to be a professional race car driver. Do you know about the Biambulac rally? He was known as the king of Biambulac. After After he retired, he opened an auto repair shop. Besides repairing cars, he also takes on jobs modifying cars. Old Su chattered on endlessly. Deal, let's go to his place. Su Chen nodded. He didn't care about whatever king of Byambulac, as long as the person could modify the nomadic fortress according to his requests. That would be enough. In a short while, Old Su drove the car and brought Su Chen to an auto repair shop in the suburbs of the Magic City. He made a phone call, and in a short while, a middle-aged man wearing working clothes covered in oil stains walked out. Old Su, long time no see. The auto repair shop owner Zhang Qi smiled and greeted Old Su, but upon seeing the nomadic fortress behind him, he couldn't help but say in astonishment, "Did you strike it rich, kid? You are even willing to buy an RV worth over 10 million? You misunderstood. I am just a driver. This vehicle belongs to Mr. Su Chen." Old Su hurriedly explained and told Zhang Qi about Su Chen's purpose. "So it turns out you want to modify the RV, Mr. Su Chen. You can rest assured. Whatever you want it modified into, I can help you with it." Su Chen smiled and slowly stated his requests. However, after Zhang Qi and Old Su heard them, both were dumbfounded, because Su Chen's modification requests were simply too bizarre and unimaginable. He requested Zhang Qi to directly replace the original vehicle body with bulletproof steel plates. The glass on the vehicle windows also had to be modified into bulletproof glass. The original vehicle head and body were separated. To enter the driver's cabin from inside the RV, one had to leave the RV first. Therefore, Su Chen specifically requested to connect the vehicle head and the vehicle body of the nomadic fortress together, so he could directly enter the RV from the driver's cabin. This way, accidental situations could be avoided. Besides this, Su Chen also had quite a few other requests. For example, installing cameras all around the vehicle body to ensure a 360-degree blind spot-free view, and the interior of the vehicle had to be made absolutely soundproof and heat-insulated, and so on. Mr. Su Chen, modifying it like this, could it be to cope with the doomsday of the world? Zhang Qi said, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Su Chen's requests were entirely modifying it according to the standards of the doomsday of the world. Correct. I am worried that one day the doomsday will come, so I want to make preparations in advance. Su Chen admitted it grandly and generously. Hearing these words, Zhang Qi suddenly realized he had heard previously that there were quite a few doomsday preppers in foreign countries. These people believed that one day the doomsday would descend, hence they would reserve a lot of supplies to prevent unforeseen events. Su Chen was so young, yet he would harbor such groundless fears. Zhang Qi complained in his heart, but on the surface, he beamed with smiles and said, I can satisfy most of Mr. Su Chen's requests, but canceling the second floor lift and directly building a second floor space, I'm afraid that's going to be tough. It wasn't that Zhang Qi's skills were lacking, but the nomadic fortress was originally extremely tall and large. If modified according to Su Chen's requests, then it would exceed the height limit. You don't need to worry about that. Just modify it according to my requests, Su Chen instructed. When the doomsday arrived and the social order collapsed, who would have the leisure time to care whether Su Chen's vehicle exceeded the height limit or not? Well, alright then, I will listen to Mr. Su Chen for everything. It's just regarding the construction period. Mr. Su Chen requesting 3 weeks is truly too rushed. Zhang Qi revealed a difficult expression. Modifying the nomadic fortress was no small project. Under normal circumstances, it would take at least a month and a half. Anything else can be discussed, but this point cannot. The modification must be completed within 3 weeks, Su Chen said in a deep voice. Are you kidding? In another 3 weeks, the doomsday would descend. If the modification couldn't be completed in advance, how could he continue to live unrestrainedly in the apocalyptic world? Boss Zhang Qi, as long as it's completed within 3 weeks, I will pay double the price. Hearing these words, Zhang Qi's eyes instantly gleamed, and he laughed. Please rest assured, Mr. Su Chen, I will immediately go find more people, work overtime day and night, and strive to finish the modifications for you within 3 weeks. After the two sides discussed and signed the contract, Su Chen left the nomadic fortress at the auto repair shop, handing it over to Zhang Qi for modification. During the next period of time, Su Chen did not stay idle. He first returned home and packed up all his belongings and his parents' relics. Secondly, he also found a boxing gym, spent a large sum of money to hire a coach, and had the other party teach him fighting techniques. Although less than a month's time was not enough to make Su Chen how formidable, but as long as it could strengthen his body and keep him fit, he could increase the probability of surviving safely by a few points. Inside the boxing gym, Su Chen was currently executing a frantic output of punches against the sandbag in front of him. After a bout of striking, he stopped, his head full of sweat, panting slightly, but the expression on his face was quite satisfied. In university, Su Chen was originally an athletic champion. Because of this, he was able to pursue and win the campus Bell Lulinger. Relying on his outstanding physical fitness, he had also held on for a very long time in the doomsday world. But returning from this rebirth, Su Chen discovered that his physical fitness seemed to have enhanced by a few points again. Under the guidance of the specialized coach, in less than half a month's time, he improved extremely quickly. Although he was still not a match for the coach, who was a national athlete, the other people in the boxing gym who had been practicing for 2.5 years could no longer defeat Su Chen. Brother Chen, come wipe your sweat. A female coach wearing tight yoga pants, with an elegant curve, walked over delicately and handed the towel in her hand to Su Chen. Taking advantage of the time Su Chen wiped his sweat, she even stood behind Su Chen and proactively started massaging him. Such treatment truly made the other people in the boxing gym envious endlessly. But envy aside, everyone didn't feel anything was inappropriate either. Who made Su Chen so generous with his money? After coming to the boxing gym, he directly spent over 100,000 to book an entire coaching team. The several fairly attractive female coaches in the boxing gym wished they could stick to his side every day. With the Doomsday impending, Su Chen refused no one and tamed these female coaches into total submission. Right at this moment, his mobile phone suddenly rang. It was a call from Zhang Qi. "Hello, Mr. Su Chen. Fortunately, I did not disgrace the mission. It has been completely modified according to your requests. Deal. I will head over right now." Su Chen felt joy in his heart. He didn't expect that Zhang Qi would actually finish the task ahead of schedule. Just as he hung up the phone, the female coach behind him pressed closely against him, exhaling softly like orchids. "Brother Chen, I am free tonight. Do you want to come accompany me?" Hearing these words, no man could resist, and Su Chen was no exception. But there were only 2 or 3 days left until the Doomsday arrived. If Zhang Qi's modifications were extremely successful, then Su Chen planned to set out tonight. Therefore, he could only ruthlessly refuse. "Older brother has matters tonight. Let's change the day." Amidst the other party's resentful gaze, he went to take a shower, changed his clothes, and rushed towards Zhang Qi's auto repair shop. Zhang Qi and the driver Old Su had been waiting for a long time. Seeing Su Chen arrive, they stepped forward to greet him with smiles. "Mr. Su Chen, I have modified it strictly according to your requests. Please take a look." The modified nomadic fortress was standing quietly there. The originally black vehicle body had been transformed into camouflage colors, making it even more convenient for concealment. According to Su Chen's request, the vehicle body materials were replaced with bulletproof steel plates. In Zhang Qi's words, the protective performance of these steel plates was excellent, even capable of withstanding the bombardment of RPG rockets. The vehicle head and vehicle body had officially merged into one. One could freely travel between the driver's cabin and the vehicle body without needing to leave the interior of the vehicle again. After inspecting everything, Su Chen could be said to be quite satisfied. "Not bad. Thanks for your hard work, factory manager Zhang Qi." "Not hard work at all. Not hard work at all." Zhang Qi rubbed his hands, saying with a beaming smile, "Mr. Su Chen, look, regarding our modification fee, easy to say. I will transfer the money to you right now." Su Chen didn't dawdle. According to the agreement between both sides, he transferred half of the payment to Zhang Qi's account. The remaining final payment will be paid 1 month later. "No problem, no problem." Looking at the hundreds of thousands extra in his account, Zhang Qi smiled so widely his mouth couldn't close. Car modification was originally a hugely profitable business, not to mention that Su Chen offered double the price. "Old Su, this is your salary." Su Chen also transferred the 20,000 yuan belonging to Old Su to him. "Many thanks, Mr. Su Chen." Old Su was also quite delighted. Su Chen personally started the nomadic fortress, and after ensuring there were no abnormalities with the vehicle, he drove away from Zhang Qi's auto repair shop. Looking at his departing back figure, Zhang Qi and Old Su were quite reluctant to part. After all, a sucker with so much money like Su Chen was truly rare to see, since the modified nomadic fortress exceeded the height limit. If it drove into the city area, it would definitely be seized by the traffic police. However, Su Chen's belongings had already been packed up, and there was no need to return to the city area again. After leaving Zhang Qi's auto repair shop, he headed straight for Walmart's warehouse located in the city suburbs. Under the excuse of discussing business with manager Zhao, Su Chen parked the nomadic fortress right next to the warehouse, and then took all the supplies that could be fitted into his storage space. Fortunately, today was a workday, and there were not many people inside the warehouse. Just like that, without anybody noticing, Su Chen obtained another large batch of supplies. After doing all this, Su Chen drove the nomadic fortress and arrived again at the parking lot in the city suburbs. After the modification, the seats in the driver's cabin became extremely comfortable. Even if he sat for a day and a night, he wouldn't feel particularly fatigued. And yet you approached, forcing our lines of sight to intersect. Su Chen leaned against the chair back, crossed his legs, and listened to the song playing on the car audio. He used to think this kind of DJ music was terribly unrefined, but when he himself drove the car onto the road, he realized this kind of song was super rhythmic. As the night deepened, when the time reached midnight, the surroundings suddenly became bright. Su Chen looked up. Through the skylight on the vehicle roof, he could clearly see countless meteors trailing tail flames sweeping across the originally dim sky. Although it was late at night, such a spectacular sight still attracted quite a few people to stop and watch. The internet consequently became exceptionally lively. Damn, why did a meteor shower suddenly start raining down? Netizens need not panic, according to this professor's research. Scram! Looking at the noisy arguments on the internet, Su Chen sighed slightly. He was very clear that this meteor shower was not only not romantic at all, but also extremely bloody, because this sudden meteor shower drew the curtains on the Doomsday. Before tonight, Su Chen's psychology was extremely contradictory. On one hand, he didn't want the Doomsday to arrive, leading to mass massive human deaths, the collapse of social order, and a world fraught with crisis. On the other hand, he also hoped the Doomsday would arrive, because he had already wagered his entire net worth. If the Doomsday didn't come, I'm afraid Gao Qiqiang, who issued usury loans, wouldn't let him off. Looking at the sky full of meteors, Su Chen shook his head, his gaze becoming exceptionally firm. Since the Doomsday had already arrived, what he needed to do was to survive properly in the apocalyptic world. He started the nomadic fortress again, roaring towards the west. His next destination was exactly the Phoenix Mountain scenic area located to the west of the Magic City. Phoenix Mountain was not considered far from the Magic City. If one took the highway, they could arrive in at most 2 or 3 hours. It was just that Su Chen's nomadic fortress had undergone modifications and couldn't go on the highway, so he could only take the national highway and leisurely rush towards Phoenix Mountain. When he arrived at the foot of Phoenix Mountain, it was already noon the next day. Looking at the lush and verdant Phoenix Mountain in the distance, Su Chen took a deep breath of fresh air, and a satisfied smile appeared on his face. Not long after the meteor shower ended, the blue planet's temperature would rise sharply. It would not stop until it reached nearly 60 degrees Celsius, which would formally declare the official arrival of the Doomsday. After the deadly high temperatures lasted for a good period of time, causing the glaciers at the north and south poles to melt, the sea level would rise rapidly. What followed immediately would be violent winds and torrential rains, as well as monstrous floods. Almost all coastal cities of the Xi'an nation would be submerged by seawater. After the seawater rampaged, what invaded next would be extreme cold. The blue planet's temperature would drop to terrifying levels of -40 or 50 degrees, and in the northern regions, it would even reach a terrifying extent of -100 degrees. After experiencing such extreme weather, mankind had already suffered catastrophic casualties. However, before the remaining humans had time to catch their breath, a mysterious virus erupted. People infected with the virus would turn into zombies, continuously attacking, infecting, and devouring other humans. The humans lucky enough to survive gathered together and built all kinds of shelters and safe strongholds. While resisting the Doomsday natural disasters, they scavenged for living supplies, struggling bitterly. The reason Su Chen chose this place as his initial foothold was very simple. First, because of Phoenix Mountain's special geographical location. It was warm in winter and cool in summer, with a pleasant climate. Second, apart from right now not being a holiday, the flow of people at Phoenix Mountain was not large. Even when the zombie crisis erupted later on, relatively speaking, the danger would not be that great either. But even so, the thermometer inside the vehicle showed that the temperature outside the vehicle at this moment had already reached 40 degrees. Fortunately, Su Chen had the air conditioning on, so it was actually extremely cool inside the vehicle. He simply ate some fast food, sped up, and finally arrived at the Green Forest Hotel located halfway up the mountain at dusk. After so much development, today's Phoenix Mountain tourism industry was already quite developed. Apart from the local villagers living on the periphery, the interior was filled with large and small homestays and hotels. Among them, the most famous one was the 5-star Green Forest Hotel. In order to welcome tour groups from all over, the Green Forest Hotel had specially built a huge underground parking lot, which was just convenient for Su Chen to park the nomadic fortress. Even though the nomadic fortress had sufficient protection, if possible, he also didn't want it exposed directly to the direct rays of the sun. When the nomadic fortress slowly drove into the underground parking lot, the tourists and service staff on both sides of the road also widened their eyes. After all, it was their first time seeing a luxurious recreational vehicle with such a colossal size. After finishing the check-in procedures, Su Chen leisurely came to the hotel's high-altitude restaurant. Worthy of being a famous 5-star hotel, the dishes served were extremely delicious. This could be considered as the last time Su Chen would enjoy gourmet food outside. Therefore, he was extremely unceremonious, annihilating the gourmet food like a whirlwind scattering clouds. After eating and drinking his fill, as he looked through the huge floor-to-ceiling window at the beautiful scenery of Phoenix Mountain shrouded in the afterglow of the setting sun, he couldn't help but sigh secretly in his heart. Such beautiful scenery wouldn't be seen again before long. Right at this moment, a frivolous and dawdling voice traveled over. "Buddy, that nomadic fortress in the parking lot, is it yours?" Su Chen looked up, and a fairly handsome youth was greeting him with a grin. From his outfit entirely of designer brands, it wasn't hard to tell that his background was extraordinary. It was just that his face was somewhat pale, looking at a glance like someone who overindulged in wine and women. "Yes," Su Chen nodded slightly and responded. Seeing his attitude being so arrogant, the youth's face changed slightly, and then he smiled again. "My name is Zhang Mingyuan. The chairman of Mingyuan Group is my dad. Are you interested in making a friend?" Mingyuan Group was founded in the Magic City. After so many years of development, it involved multiple industries. Even in the economically developed Magic City, it could be considered first class. Hearing Zhang Mingyuan's identity, Su Chen was slightly surprised, but only limited to this. In his previous life, he had seen dignitaries with far more prominent identities than Zhang Mingyuan, but in the apocalyptic world, they still had to bow their knees and beg for mercy just for a mouthful of food and a mouthful to drink. Not interested, Su Chen rejected Zhang Mingyuan, stood up, and was about to leave, but his action completely enraged Zhang Mingyuan. You just took out a loan to buy a nomadic fortress. What is there to show off about? Zhang Mingyuan sneered and blocked Su Chen's path. Su Chen frowned. He could feel that today Zhang Mingyuan deliberately came to find fault. Brother Mingyuan is a true rich second generation. Su Chen, for you to show off in front of him is displaying your slight skill before an expert. Right at this moment, another familiar delicate voice sounded from the side. Su Chen looked over, only to see Xiao Mei, wearing black silk stockings and a short skirt, stepping on high heels, twisting her slender waist as she walked over. Her beautiful and charming face was full of mockery towards Su Chen, and standing beside Xiao Mei, with a somewhat complex expression, was exactly Su Chen's ex-girlfriend Lu Linger. Besides this, there were several other young men and women dressed in luxurious clothes, who looked like Zhang Mingyuan's companions, currently pointing fingers at Su Chen. After receiving Su Chen's message asking her to go to Phoenix Mountain, Xiao Mei's heart could be said to have bloomed with joy. She originally wanted to keep it from Lu Linger and head there alone, but after Xiao Mei considered it repeatedly, fearing any unforeseen changes, she ultimately decided to bring Lu Linger along. In her eyes, Lu Linger's methods were far inferior to hers. Even with Lu Linger present, she could still easily manipulate Su Chen. Xiao Mei and Lu Linger arrived at Phoenix Mountain yesterday. It was just that they hadn't waited for Su Chen yet, but accidentally ran into the rich second-generation Zhang Mingyuan and his group who came for tourism. Seeing that the two girls were beautiful and graceful, Zhang Mingyuan, who had always been a playboy young master, sparked the intention to hook up with them. Lu Linger was still somewhat reserved, but Xiao Mei didn't care about that much, and with just a few words, she hooked up a relationship with Zhang Mingyuan. During the conversations between the two sides, Zhang Mingyuan also learned about the matters regarding Su Chen. As the young master of Mingyuan Group, his capabilities were naturally immense. With just one phone call, he dug out Su Chen's background. Not only did he know that the nomadic fortress was bought by Su Chen with a loan, but he also knew the matter of him mortgaging his house to the bank and borrowing quite a lot of money. Today, Zhang Mingyuan, Xiao Mei, and the others heard that a nomadic fortress had arrived and knew it was driven here by Su Chen. Therefore, they came together, planning to humiliate Su Chen properly. Fortunately, we had brother Mingyuan, otherwise Linger, and I would have been deceived by this poor loser. Xiao Mei patted the towering hills on her chest, pretending to be thankful. Facing Xiao Mei's cynical ridicule, Su Chen's face was calm as he said indifferently, "Step aside." "What if I don't step aside?" Zhang Mingyuan sneered and stepped forward, reaching out a hand to poke Su Chen's chest. "If you have the capability, hit me ah." This kind of request, it is truly my first time hearing it. Su Chen shrugged his shoulders, and before Zhang Mingyuan could recover his senses, he lifted his leg and delivered a kick. His physical fitness was originally quite good, and he had trained hard for this period of time. Coupled with his extremely swift kick, Zhang Mingyuan simply had no time to dodge. Bang! Zhang Mingyuan was directly sent flying backwards, landing heavily on the ground, his whole person curled up like a thoroughly cooked lobster. Everyone present was dumbfounded. One must know, Zhang Mingyuan was the young master of Mingyuan Group. Offending him meant one wouldn't be able to survive in the entire Magic City. Young Master Zhang Mingyuan, Young Master Zhang Mingyuan, how are you? Zhang Mingyuan's fox friends and dog buddies stepped forward, turning pale with fright, and helped him up. Su Chen, you bastard, you actually dare to hit young Master Zhang Mingyuan? Xiao Mei's pretty face turned pale. She scolded Su Chen and also hurried running towards Zhang Mingyuan. Dog thing, I am going to kill you. Zhang Mingyuan turned green with pain, but what angered him more was losing face in front of the public. What are you guys still standing there for? Beat him to death for me. If anything happens, I will take the responsibility. The several youths exchanged glances, hardened their hearts, and uniformly charged towards Su Chen. Unpanicked, Su Chen grabbed a chair from the side and smashed it head-on at the person at the very front. Hearing only a clang sound, that person rolled his eyes backwards and directly fainted onto the ground. Without waiting for the others to react, Su Chen smashed towards another person again, knocking him to the ground as well. Dare to come forward and try again? Su Chen's face was extremely ice-cold, and his tone contained a freezing, killing intent. Zhang Mingyuan's companions were instantly intimidated. After all, they were just playboy rich kids who loved eating, drinking, and having fun. Where had they ever seen a ruthless person like Su Chen, knocking down two people to the ground in just the blink of an eye? The remaining few people also didn't dare to charge forward again. Lu Linger to the side was also dumbfounded, as if knowing Su Chen for the very first time. She had known Su Chen for so long, and Su Chen had always been completely obedient to her. This was also one of the reasons she decided to leave Su Chen, because she felt Su Chen was not domineering enough, not manly enough. But today, Su Chen's performance was so domineering and manly, it truly made her look at him with new eyes. If Su Chen knew Lu Linger's thoughts, I'm afraid there would only be one thought. Aren't you cheap? Seeing that Zhang Mingyuan's group was intimidated by him, Su Chen was also too lazy to waste words with them anymore. He threw down the chair in his hand, and amidst everyone's resentful, shocked, and fearful gazes, swaggered away. If this were in the past, given Su Chen's character, he would absolutely not spare the lives of Zhang Mingyuan and the others. But right now the social order hadn't completely collapsed yet. If he truly killed Zhang Mingyuan, it would probably attract trouble. Young Master Zhang Mingyuan, should we call the police? After Su Chen left, a companion asked cautiously, call your fucking head. Zhang Mingyuan, whose face was twisted, cursed viciously. If they really called the police would only treat it as a mutual brawl, at most locking them up for a few days. It meant nothing to Su Chen, but to him, the young master of Mingyuan Group, it would be losing an immense amount of face. He pulled out his mobile phone, dialed out, and said with a gloomy face, a biao, call a team of people, bring weapons, and hurry up and drive to Phoenix Mountain. Hearing these words, the several people including Xiao Mei all revealed joyous expressions, yet Lu Linger, for some unknown reason, started feeling somewhat worried in her heart. Su Chen returned to the recreational vehicle, locked the vehicle doors tightly, and only then lay back on the bed. He didn't take the conflict with Zhang Mingyuan just now to heart, but regrettably, the final piece before the Doomsday arrived had been shattered. Just as Su Chen was preparing to sleep, his mobile phone suddenly vibrated once. He picked it up and took a look. It was actually a message sent by Lu Linger. Su Chen, are you asleep? Is there a matter? Zhang Mingyuan has a powerful family background. Having suffered such a huge loss, he definitely won't let it go. I just heard people say he found a team of hired thugs, and they are rushing over here right now. If it's no good, you'd better drive away quickly tonight. Looking at the content of the message on his mobile phone, Su Chen was actually somewhat surprised. He didn't expect that Lu Linger would kindly remind him. It seemed she hadn't degenerated to an incurable extent, but even so, Su Chen didn't plan to have anything more happen with her. Understood. After Su Chen replied to the message, he fell headfirst into a deep sleep. In another room on the other side, looking at Su Chen's cold one word, Lu Linger felt somewhat disappointed for a moment. Linger, what are you thinking about? Xiao Mei walked out of the bathroom wrapped in a bath towel, wiping her wet hair. No, nothing. Lu Linger recovered her senses and put away her mobile phone. Xiao Mei didn't think much, sitting down next to her with a smile. That Zhang Mingyuan is a top-tier rich second generation. If you marry him, you will be able to enjoy glory, splendor, wealth, and rank for the rest of your life. He's such a playboy. How could he possibly marry us? Lu Linger shook her head. She knew very well that with their conditions, even if Zhang Mingyuan agreed, his parents would absolutely never agree. Moreover, Zhang Mingyuan was originally a lustful person, flirting and messing around with women all day long. The women he had experienced were countless. That doesn't matter either. Those friends beside him also have superior family backgrounds. Just finding any one of them is enough. Xiao Mei smiled proudly, and changing the topic, she said, I just heard them say that the people Zhang Mingyuan brought over are bodyguards from Mingyuan Group. These bodyguards are either retired soldiers or come from Sanda backgrounds, each possessing extraordinary skills. Previously, quite a few people offended young Master Zhang Mingyuan, and their arms and legs were all broken by those bodyguards. Hearing these words, Lu Linger's pretty face turned slightly pale, and she couldn't help but worry for Su Chen. She hoped he could listen to her words and quickly leave Phoenix Mountain. Early the next morning, when Su Chen woke up, he took a look at the thermometer. Even though it was morning right now, and they were in the underground parking lot, the temperature outside the vehicle had already reached over 30 degrees. If things developed according to this trend, it probably wouldn't be a problem to break through 50 degrees today. Su Chen pondered secretly in his heart. He washed up a bit, then headed to the restaurant, planning to finish his final breakfast. On the road leading to the restaurant, there was an open-air corridor. As soon as Su Chen stepped out of the elevator, he felt a wave of heat surging towards him. He hurriedly quickened his pace and entered the restaurant. Why is the weather so evil today? Exactly. It's so hot early in the morning that it makes people dizzy. Zhang Mingyuan and the others gathered in a corner of the restaurant, currently complaining about the weather. Seeing Su Chen walk in, their faces were all somewhat ugly, and they subconsciously shut their mouths. Su Chen merely glanced at them, said nothing more, and went straight to sit down by the window, starting to order his meal. Fortunately, after yesterday's conflict, Zhang Mingyuan and the others had also learned to be obedient and didn't dare to come up and provoke him again. After Su Chen finished enjoying his breakfast, the sun was already high in the sky. Through the thermometer inside the restaurant, one could clearly see that the temperature outside had already broken through 40 degrees, reaching an astonishing 45 degrees. Despite the high-power central air conditioning whirring and blowing cold air, but separated by the windows, Su Chen could still feel the scorching temperature outside. It seemed he couldn't delay any longer. Su Chen pondered secretly in his heart, and followed up by standing up, quickly leaving the restaurant. After Su Chen left, Zhang Mingyuan finally breathed a sigh of relief, dropping harsh words. Let him be arrogant for a little while longer. When a Biao and the others arrive, he will get what's coming to him. Lu Linger, sitting to the side, felt worried yet somewhat annoyed in her heart. This Su Chen, why didn't he know what was good for him? She had already kindly reminded him, yet he still didn't leave. However, a Biao and the others hadn't arrived yet, but Zhang Mingyuan was the first to lose his composure. As noon approached, the outdoor temperature had already closed in on 50 degrees. Under such terrifying temperatures, no one dared to stay outside anymore, all flocking into the rooms and turning on the air conditioning to cool down. Red alert for high temperatures. It is expected that daytime temperatures today will break through to 50 degrees. Citizens are advised not to stay outdoors, and to try to stay in cool and shaded environments as much as possible. The television broadcast in the restaurant stopped abruptly halfway through playing. Following closely, the central air conditioning that had been whirring and blowing cold air also stopped working. In just the time of a moment, the originally cool restaurant began to become hot and dry. What the fuck is this situation? Zhang Mingyuan couldn't help but slam the table and stand up. I am truly sorry, young master Zhang Mingyuan. The person in charge of the hotel rushed over upon hearing the news, wiping a head full of sweat while saying to Zhang Mingyuan, the hotel's power distribution room suddenly exploded and caught fire. The fire has just been extinguished. What? Such a thing actually happened? Zhang Mingyuan and the others couldn't help but be taken aback. During peak electricity usage periods in the summer, transformers within residential areas would often explode and cause power outages due to overloading. This was indeed quite common, but for a large hotel like Green Forest Hotel, which had its own power distribution room, it was very rare for similar situations to occur. However, today's temperature was too high, and coupled with all the air conditioners inside the hotel being turned on, it resulted in the power distribution room also exploding and catching fire. Then how long will it take for you to fix it? Zhang Mingyuan said impatiently. This, at least, it will take until tonight, the person in charge stammered. Although the hotel was equipped with specialized electricians, with the power distribution room catching fire, fixing it would require transporting equipment from the foot of the mountain. Right now, outside there were rolling waves of heat. Unless one no longer wanted to live, no one would be willing to do this. If it takes until tonight, won't that cook us to death? Zhang Mingyuan was instantly furious. What kind of bullshit 5-star hotel is this? The weather gets a little hotter and an issue occurs. Exactly, young master Zhang Mingyuan. Let's go. Change to another hotel. The rest of the people chimed in one after another. Zhang Mingyuan wiped a handful of sweat from his forehead, and just as he was about to leave with his group of fox friends and dog buddies, he saw the main doors of the restaurant open wide, and closely following, a crowd of people surged in. These people were all holding parasols and wrapped up tightly. It wasn't until they entered the restaurant that they took off their coats, their bodies already dripping with sweat. The person in charge was stunned for a moment and hurriedly stepped forward to greet them. Hello, what are you guys doing? Manager, the weather today is so hot. Let us cool off here. From their attitude conversing with the manager, it was not hard to see that they were all local residents of Phoenix Mountain. This won't do. We still have business to do. The manager shook his head, declining. Don't you have air conditioning at home? Don't mention it. The transformer broke down. We called the electricity bureau, and they said it can't be fixed today. Yeah, the power supply for several other hotels has also experienced issues. Hearing these words, the faces of everyone present instantly turned ugly. On such a hot day, without air conditioning, wouldn't they all be cooked to death? No way. Why don't we all return to our rooms and soak in the bathtub? Lu Linger suggested. The temperature was already quite high to begin with, and with so many people gathered here, it caused the temperature to rise by a few more degrees. Zhang Mingyuan and the others exchanged glances, all nodded, and walking along the stairs, returned to their respective rooms. When checking into the hotel, Lu Linger and Xiaomei chose a scenic view room with huge floor-to-ceiling windows, just so they could admire the scenery of Phoenix Mountain. However, at this moment, it was claiming their old lives. The room, after being directly baked by the sun, was almost exactly the same as an oven. As soon as the two girls entered, they felt a wave of suffocating heat blowing against their faces. They hurriedly closed the curtains, rushed into the bathroom, and while running the water, took off all their clothes cleanly. After the bathtub was full of water, they couldn't wait to sit inside. Even though the water temperature at this time was not low either, it still made the two girls feel a rare trace of coolness. It was just a pity that not long after, due to the temperature being too high, the water inside the bathtub evaporated by more than half, causing the water temperature to rise considerably as well. Lu Linger originally wanted to run some more water, but no matter how she twisted the faucet, not a single drop of water flowed out. What is this situation? It's probably because of the power outage, right? Xiaomei was somewhat annoyed. The Green Forest Hotel was located halfway up the mountain. The water used was all drawn up from the foot of the mountain. Once the power was cut, naturally there couldn't possibly be any more water to use. What should we do? In just the time of a moment, Lu Linger's fair face was already covered densely with sweat beads. Despite the curtains being closed, the room right now was still no different from a steamer. Right at this moment, the room door was knocked on by someone, and Zhang Mingyuan's voice traveled over. Linger, Xiaomei. The two girls hurriedly wrapped themselves in bath towels and opened the room door. Looking at Lu Linger and Xiaomei, who were like lotus flowers rising from the water, Zhang Mingyuan, who was flushed from the heat, had eyes filled with greed. I just heard that quite a few people in the hotel fainted from heat stroke, so I specifically came over to check on you too. Thank you for your concern, young master Zhang Mingyuan. The two of us are fine. It's just that it's so hot. If we continue to stay here, I'm afraid it won't work out either, Xiaomei said in a delicate voice. The hotel's underground parking lot is very cool. The manager is already organizing people to go there. How about we go together? Zhang Mingyuan suggested. Okay, young master Zhang Mingyuan. Wait a moment. Xiaomei and Lu Linger's eyes lit up, so they closed the room door and started changing clothes. Although they were changing clothes, in order not to feel so hot, they could only choose outfits like camisole tops and hot shorts. Compared to the bath towels, it was conversely even hotter and spicier. Even though Zhang Mingyuan had experienced countless women, upon seeing the two girls dressed so sexily, his eyeballs almost popped out. Fortunately, the weather right now was scorching hot. Although Zhang Mingyuan had the intention, the conditions did not allow it. He led Lu Linger, Xiao Mei, and the two girls, and walking along the safety stairs, they came all the way to the underground parking lot. The parking lot located underground was always warm in winter and cool in summer. Although compared to normal days, it was still a lot hotter inside here. When the group entered, they obviously felt the temperature drop by a few degrees. Right now at Phoenix Mountain, it was not the peak tourist season, but including the staff and nearby villagers, there were still quite a few people. Inside the spacious underground parking lot, 100 or 200 people had already gathered at this time. The hotel manager was organizing manpower to maintain order. Seeing Zhang Mingyuan arrive, the manager hurriedly ran over, nodding and bowing. "Young Master Zhang Mingyuan, we have already prepared a spot for you." In order to curry favor with Zhang Mingyuan, the manager had specially reserved a ventilated spot for him and his friends, and even laid a few bamboo sleeping mats on the ground. "Thanks for your hard work. I will not mistreat you when the weather returns to normal." Zhang Mingyuan waved his hand. "Young Master Zhang Mingyuan is truly too polite." The manager's face instantly broke into a wide smile. "Young Master Zhang Mingyuan truly has capabilities." Xiao Mei beside him hurriedly complimented. "That is natural." Zhang Mingyuan smiled, pretending to be reserved, but in his heart he secretly thought, "Wait until I get both of you into bed. You will know how capable I am." He took Xiao Mei and Lu Linger to meet up with his companions. Sitting on the bamboo mats, feeling the faint breeze, the group was also temporarily relieved. However, as time flowed on, new problems emerged once again. Don't assume that the underground parking lot was much cooler than outside. With so many people squeezed together, the temperature also subsequently rose. Not long after, people also became flush-faced, with bean-sized sweat beads continuously dropping down. Regardless of gender or age, they all took off the clothes on their bodies as much as possible. During this, there was no lack of spring scenery leaking out, but at this crucial juncture, people were all so dizzy and dazed from the heat that they simply had no energy to look. "This weather, how did it get so hot? Yeah, it's already past noon. How come it's still so hot?" "Young Master Zhang Mingyuan, this weather couldn't keep being this hot continuously, right?" Zhang Mingyuan's friends couldn't help but whisper. "How is that possible? If it truly keeps being this hot continuously, wouldn't everyone be cooked to death?" Zhang Mingyuan flipped his body over and said feebly. Right at this moment, Xiao Mei beside him suddenly brightened her eyes and pointed into the distance, saying, "Look over there quickly." Following the direction she was pointing, the crowd looked over. They saw that Su Chen's nomadic fortress was currently parked at the entrance of the parking lot. "What's wrong?" Zhang Mingyuan frowned and said impatiently, "Listen, that RV of his has been running this whole time. He's probably blowing the air conditioning. We can blow the air conditioning too." Xiao Mei's words instantly reminded Zhang Mingyuan and the others. Right. Although the power was cut outside, the air conditioners inside the cars burned gasoline. People like Zhang Mingyuan all drove here to Phoenix Mountain for a self-driving tour. Thinking of this, he hurriedly leapt up and ran towards his own car. When he started the Porsche sports car, turned on the air conditioning, and felt the whooshing cold wind, Zhang Mingyuan almost burst into tears. And as Zhang Mingyuan and his group started their cars, the other people present also reacted. Anyone who had driven here hurriedly got into their own cars and turned on the air conditioning, and those who didn't have cars could only look at them with envious eyes. For a time, only the buzzing sound of car engines could be heard inside the parking lot. Zhang Mingyuan blew the cold wind while picking up the mineral water inside the car and taking a sip. It was instantly extremely comfortable. "Young Master Zhang Mingyuan, can you let the two of us also come inside to blow some wind?" Xiao Mei knocked on the car window and said, pretending to be frail. "This is of course. I am not a stingy person." Zhang Mingyuan laughed heartily, opened the car door, and let Xiao Mei and Lu Linger squeeze inside. "Young Master Zhang Mingyuan is so nice. After the temperature returns to normal, I will definitely treat young Master Zhang Mingyuan to a meal," Xiao Mei said in a delicate voice. "There is no need for a meal." Although Zhang Mingyuan said so verbally, in his heart he added a sentence. Change the day. Those who had cars were all enjoying the air conditioning inside their cars. Those without cars could only continue to endure the high temperature outside. But they all believed that in a couple of days, this terrifying high temperature would pass. Meanwhile, inside the nomadic fortress, Su Chen was crossing his legs and sitting on a comfortable boss chair. Looking at the situation inside the parking lot, a sneer surfaced at the corner of his mouth. Relying on the car air conditioning to cool down was indeed a good method, but how could Zhang Mingyuan and the others know that such terrifying high temperatures would last for half a month? With that little bit of gasoline inside their cars, how long could they hold on? Moreover, with so many cars started simultaneously, the carbon dioxide formed would only raise the temperature inside the parking lot even higher. But what did all of this have to do with him? Sure enough, not long after, the temperature inside the parking lot also rose a lot. Those without cars were already cooked to the point of being unable to endure it. They had no choice but to step forward, knocking on the car windows one by one, hoping that the people inside the cars would allow them to enter and cool off. It was just that most of the tourists came with their families, driving small sedans, which could at most squeeze in 1 or 2 more people. There were still dozens of people left, who could only bitterly endure the high temperature. Very quickly, 1 or 2 people with weaker constitutions experienced symptoms of heat stroke and fainting. Seeing this situation, the hotel manager sitting inside a car instantly became anxious. He didn't know that the doomsday had already descended. In his view, the climate would return to normal before long. But if guests died at the Green Forest Hotel, the blow to the hotel's reputation would be massive. If things went badly, he might even be fired. But no matter how anxious he was, it was of no help, because inside his car, including himself, 6 people were already sitting. It was simply impossible to squeeze anyone else in. Just as the manager was in a dilemma, Zhang Mingyuan drove his Porsche and came next to his car. "Manager, I do have a method that can help these people." Zhang Mingyuan rolled down the car window and said with a beaming smile, "What good method does young master Zhang Mingyuan have? Isn't there a nomadic fortress over there?" Zhang Mingyuan pointed to Su Chen's RV, pretending to be kind-hearted as he said, "With that RV being so large in volume, if people really squeeze in, holding 30 or 50 people shouldn't be a problem." "Right, why didn't I think of that?" the manager suddenly realized, and hurriedly called out to the people outside the car, asking them to follow behind his car and head towards the nomadic fortress. Looking at the back figures of the manager and his group, a sinister smile appeared on Zhang Mingyuan's face. The reason he proposed such a suggestion was not because he was being kind-hearted, but rather, he thought of the fact that the nomadic fortress was a famous luxury RV. If they could get inside the RV to stay, it would be much more comfortable than right now. Zhang Mingyuan shot a meaningful glance at his companions, and also drove the car, following behind the manager's group. Inside the RV, Su Chen was lying on the Simmons grand bed, leisurely scrolling through TikTok. Today was only the first 2 days of the doomsday, and the social order had not yet completely collapsed. On TikTok, there were still quite a few young ladies in black silk stockings, inside air-conditioned rooms, working hard to perform edge-walking dances. Su Chen watched with great interest, and even sent a few big rockets to the other party, causing the female streamer to exclaim continuously in a delicate voice, "Thank you for the big brother at rank 1's rockets. Love you yo." The female streamer, while making a heart gesture at Su Chen, applied to add Su Chen as a friend. Su Chen just smiled and passed over it. If it were in the past, he might still have the interest to have the other party drop by through her friend request, but under the current situation, he didn't have the slightest bit of interest. Seeing that it was mealtime, Su Chen thought for a moment and casually opened a video of a food blogger, planning to use this method to decide what to eat tonight. "Soul's juice, pour it on." Listening to the demonic whisper coming from TikTok, Su Chen's spirit was also invigorated. He opened the storage space, and after rummaging for a bit, he finally found a few frozen sheep heads. He put them into the microwave to heat them up for a while, and then prepared hot rapeseed oil. Just as he was preparing to pour it on, there suddenly came the dong 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 sound of knocking on the door. Su Chen frowned, put down the rapeseed oil in his hand, and came to the side of the vehicle door. Through the onboard camera, he could clearly see that dozens of people were gathered outside the vehicle door, and the one taking the lead was exactly the hotel manager. "Is there a matter?" Su Chen pressed a button and said quite politely. Besides the cameras, Su Chen had also asked Zhang Qi to install microphones on the vehicle, making it convenient for him to communicate with the outside without getting off the vehicle. Hearing Su Chen's voice, the manager froze slightly and hurriedly smiled. "Mr. Su Chen, right, I have a little matter on my side. Is it convenient to go in and talk face to face?" "Inconvenient," Su Chen straightforwardly refused. Having experienced the doomsday, he had profound experience with things like a magpie's nest being occupied by a dove, so how could he let people in? The smile on the manager's face instantly froze. "It is like this, Mr. Su Chen. As you also know, the temperature is so high today, and the hotel's power distribution room has had an issue, causing all air conditioners to shut down. On such a hot day, a few elderly people and children have already shown symptoms of heat stroke. Your RV has such a large space. How about doing a good deed and letting them all go inside to stay?" "Doing a good deed? I'm afraid I would be leading a wolf into the house." A sneer surfaced at the corner of Su Chen's mouth. In his previous life, he had seen quite a few kind-hearted people who, in order to help others, ended up getting themselves killed instead. "I am sorry, not interested." Being rejected by Su Chen once again, the manager's face obviously showed that he couldn't hold on to his pride. "Sir, you are in our hotel's underground parking lot. If you want to continue staying here, it is best to cooperate a little." "What if I don't cooperate? Could you possibly drive me away?" Su Chen's tone carried a trace of banter. The manager was awkward for a moment. If Su Chen didn't cooperate, he truly didn't know what to do. "Sir, please just show some kindness. Yeah, my old lady is over 70 this year, and she has already fainted right now." Seeing that the manager's words didn't work, the surrounding other tourists stepped forward one after another, all talking at once. Su Chen was also too lazy to waste words with them anymore. He went straight back to his seat and started enjoying his sheep head. The crowd outside the vehicle, seeing no movement from Su Chen, instantly became furious. "You really have no conscience." "Exactly, watching the elderly and children suffer, and you don't know how to show some kindness. When this matter is over, we will definitely expose him." Listening to the accusations outside the vehicle, Su Chen smiled. Without morals, one will not be kidnapped. Fortunately, he didn't let them in. Otherwise, given given their moral character, they would probably push their luck even further. A group of tourists complained for a long time, but there was no movement at all from inside the vehicle. They had no choice but to lick their dry lips and honestly go back to rest. The manager also drove his car to the side of the Porsche. He shook his head at Zhang Mingyuan and said somewhat angrily, "Young Master Zhang Mingyuan, this guy named Su Chen is truly not a human being." Zhang Mingyuan was also somewhat surprised. Even if it were him, seeing so many people begging him, he couldn't possibly remain completely indifferent. But he didn't let go of this opportunity and instead deliberately put on an indignant appearance. How can this person be so lacking in sympathy? "Oh, I am sorry, Linger. I shouldn't say that about him. It does not matter, young Master Zhang Mingyuan. That Su Chen is merely Linger's ex-boyfriend." On Xiaomei's delicate and beautiful face, there was full of disdain towards Su Chen. "I didn't expect him to actually be a person who would leave others to die without helping. Fortunately, Linger, you broke up with him early." Lu Linger on the side frowned her pretty eyebrows, her heart full of doubts. Having known Su Chen for so long, what she could be certain of was that Su Chen was absolutely a person with a kind character. But what had happened to make him become so cold and heartless? Although they failed to trick the vehicle door open and enter the nomadic fortress to enjoy themselves, at least they ruined Su Chen's image. Zhang Mingyuan laid the groundwork for his next move to push Lu Linger down. As for Xiaomei, in his eyes, she was already something in his pocket. As time passed bit by bit, the sun set in the west, and the originally scorching temperature also dropped by a few degrees. Although it was still quite hot compared to noon, people could still endure it. It was just that a new problem also subsequently emerged. There was a shortage of food. Green Forest is a 5-star grand hotel. The ingredients used were all transported up from the foot of the mountain every early morning. The hotel originally had good intentions, wanting to let the tourists enjoy the freshest ingredients. However, today's sudden high temperatures, coupled with the power outage causing the freezers to fail to operate, caused massive amounts of ingredients to rot and spoil directly. The manager led people back into the hotel, searched through 3 outer layers and 3 inner layers, and only then barely found some instant noodles, compressed biscuits, and similar foods that didn't spoil easily and were easy to store. It was just that these foods were not many, and after distributing them to 100 or 200 people, very little was left. "Young Master Zhang Mingyuan, this is what I specifically saved for you guys." The manager held a cardboard box with a face full of flattery. In order to save gasoline, after the temperature dropped to an endurable level, most people chose to leave their cars. Zhang Mingyuan was no exception. He took the cardboard box from the manager's hands, opened it to take a look, and saw that some canned foods were impressively placed inside. "Manager, dang, not bad." Zhang Mingyuan was both surprised and delighted, and couldn't help but praise the manager. "No matter who I mistreat, I cannot mistreat young Master Zhang Mingyuan. Isn't that so?" Manager Dang said with a chuckle. Mingyuan Group was originally a super company and also had shares in the Green Forest Hotel. This was also why he curried favor with Zhang Mingyuan so much. "Xiaomei, Linger, come, let us eat together." Zhang Mingyuan generously greeted Xiaomei and Lu Linger. "Many thanks, young Master Zhang Mingyuan. Young Master Zhang Mingyuan truly has capabilities." The two girls were also somewhat desperately hungry, so they didn't act polite with Zhang Mingyuan. They took the canned food and began enjoying it. For young masters with status like Zhang Mingyuan, they usually ate delicacies from mountains and seas. But under the current situation, the canned food in his hands also tasted exceptionally delicious. After everyone ate and drank their fill, they lay down to rest. Right at this moment, a burst of chaotic footsteps suddenly traveled over from the entrance of the underground parking lot.